months ago, everything looked like, boy, you best watch out for these guys. This is going to be a real problem. This team's got it. Championships all around.
And injuries will hit you.
Oh, it's crazy. I've talked to a million coaches in all the different sports, but especially whether it's baseball, hockey, the marathon sports, as I like to call them, basketball. Man, you trying to get your team to peak at the right time, I don't know how you do it. And the coaches that do, it's just, like even you think about that Avs team, the last Cup team, 2022, right? They were just cruising. Really, the Nuggets of 2023. They just found a way to be the best team, start of the playoffs, best team. Doesn't matter what team they face, best team. They didn't have to play their best game.
Andy,
to get
funny
it done.
thing about that Nuggets team, they didn't even try for the last 2 months of the
I know.
year.
That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
And they're losing games, and it just doesn't matter. And then the playoffs start, and it's like, oh, yeah, we are a well-oiled machine.
But most of the time, you've got to find a way to keep playing your best, whatever, hockey, basketball, whatever. Hey, lacrosse coaches worry about it all the time in that NLL because, again, that's a long season, and they play one a week. And then they get all these crazy bye weeks, for whatever reason. You can lose what you got real quickly. Yeah. And so for the Avs, I hope the Avs are fine because, again, what my big thing about the Avs is I think they're a really good team. But what has separated them –
look out.
Well, no, but –
best team in hockey, pretty good.
Yeah, but again, what made them the best team in hockey? 2 weeks of Vezina-level Scott Wedgwood, man. And so I can't tell you for sure Scott Wedgwood is going to become 2001 Patrick Waugh again by the time, because that's what he was in November and December, dude. I remember you coming in going, have you seen his goals against? It's just stupid. They didn't lose a game in regulation. The guy's diving across creases and making stupid saves and looking like Dominik Hasek at some points. I don't know. Is either guy going to be that when the playoffs start? I got no idea.
Andy, they're also the highest scoring team in hockey. They also have that going for them, too.
They are, but both the Avs and the Nuggets, it's interesting. You're going to face teams that can run with you in those circles. Hell, Portland was doing it yesterday with the Nuggets for a while. How annoying at times was that game despite it being fun? I'm like, when are these guys going to quit? At least the Nuggets have the MO of always, they shoot threes well and get up and down the floor and score a lot. Portland decided they just wanted to go bucket for bucket with them till about the fourth quarter, and then they finally let up.
Well, the first quarter was comedy yesterday. The Nuggets actually defended after that. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't share your trepidation over the Blazers game yesterday.
Just because I felt I guess we'd had such a good weekend. I'm like, a dumb loss is coming somewhere, and all I had left was the Nuggets, so my nerves were on high end.
Yeah, I thought the Nuggets were in control of that thing the whole way. There was a lot of good in that Nuggets performance yesterday. I want to highlight a couple of guys because obviously Joker did a 22, 14, and 14 yesterday. Jamal was just standard. Jamal went for 22. Great Cam Johnson game yesterday. And that was even after he had a little bit of a dip against Toronto, but like 5 of 7 from 3. He is so comfortable playing with Aaron Gordon. The role just instantly makes sense for him. And it's his role, the floor spacing, where he is in the pecking order. The lanes are clear. He's aggressive. He's hitting outside shots. He's in rhythm. I love the way that Cam is playing right now. I love the way the starting five is playing together. So Cam Johnson, I think, gets a ton of credit. And then Christian Brown yesterday, like, offensively, he's never looked great the entire year, Andy. He's had nights where he has it, and when he's out running the floor, that's when he's at his very best. But he spent most of the game on Avdia yesterday, and Denny Avdia, 23 points on 17 shots, 3 turnovers, and a -24. You'll take that every single time. Like, Christian Brown had a great defensive game yesterday. Avdia was really frustrated by a lot of what Denver was doing to him. I thought those guys were massive. And then Peyton Watson, like, you could see the rust.
Yeah.
He airballed a couple of floaters, but like that. But besides that, again, like, it just, the game didn't go away. It didn't. That looked like January Peyton Watson at times, Andy. Like, his ability to attack and create off the dribble right now, it's the biggest leap forward in his game that we got this year. And we saw it yesterday. We saw the glimpses of it. I think it'll take him a few games, get the legs underneath him. He said the altitude bothered him, all of that. But I thought he looked wonderful. I liked the way that Adelman ran the rotation yesterday. I liked the 9-man that he used. I think that's probably most likely what he would like it to look like in the postseason. Bruce Brown was great yesterday. Tim Hardaway had a little bit of an off-shooting game, but he was still good. And then Spencer Jones, you kind of deploy him for 12 minutes. You get toughness and physicality out of him. You got a dunk out of him yesterday. Really, Andy, like that second quarter run, they were forcing turnovers and getting out on the break. That was kind of where they got the separation in the game after they didn't defend it all in the first quarter, and they just kind of rolled from there. I was really impressed by that performance. Really just great weekend overall for the Nuggets. And look, are they going to win a title? I don't know. If I had to bet on it, I'd say probably not. But I think they're going to win a series. They might win 2 series. And if they run into the right injury situation, anything can happen because they're just that friggin' good. But they're a contender. They're a championship-worthy contender right now.
Yeah, and look, it's with the Nuggets. I said with the Avs or these other teams, can you get playing at peak performance? The Nuggets don't even have to worry about playing peak. You saw it yesterday when everybody's healthy and everyone's in their proper role, as you alluded to there.
Yeah, it's everything.
Everything makes sense. All the pieces fit, and they're fine. The question is, will Aaron Gordon's, will that bum hammy hold up for what, 6 weeks of playoff action or whatever you needed to? That's the question.
That's it. That's it. Flat out, it comes down to health for that team. If they're healthy, they contend. If they're not, they don't.
Yeah, it's sadly as simple as that.
Yeah, because Nikola Jokic is just he's too friggin' good, man. He is so hot take alert. I think Nikola Jokic, good basketball player. And when he is right, and the pieces around him are on the floor and he's going, I kind of felt like yesterday he was trying around with some stuff. He kept shooting threes. I think he's actively trying to hone that part of his game before the postseason and find the 3-point shot. Isn't it always a little wonky with him in the 3-ball just because of the wrist thing?
Yeah.
I don't think he knows necessarily how it's going to feel one morning to the next, but I think he's trying to find it because any opponent they get in the postseason will start a series by going under screens and leaving Jokic alone at the top of the key. Okay? So he wants to make that 3. He wants to find that shot to punish them. And when he has it, then they stretch defenses, and then everything is easier for him. But he knows he's got to be able to find that shot. And I think he's really trying to make sure he has it by the time they get to the playoffs. That's one of those, Andy, that you talk about of like, are they going to be at their best? Well, Jokic has to make threes for them to be at their best.
He does. You talk about the wrist. I mean, the problem what you can't control there is, and from what I gleaned, he told was that I think it was either the NBC guys or not the Yahoo, the Prime Amazon guy. Was it the Amazon guys that he told? Hell, it might have been the ESPN guys. It's been nothing but national games. But he
Name
told
some
one
tech
of them
bros, Andy. You'll get it.
Yeah, I know. Let's Hey, what's GoDaddy? No, I'm just.
He was
kidding.
telling Bing.
Now I gotta go through all the defunct ones that don't exist anymore.
He was mentioning to Ask Jeeves.
Yard Barker. I'm trying to think of all those ones that are gone.
He was telling Firefox.
Yeah, there we go. Although I still use that so we can do our podcast if you can believe it. No, but he was telling one of the national crews, maybe it was Richard Jefferson, was saying that he had said the wrist bothers him sometimes and he can't follow through the way that he wants to, right?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes what happens mid-game when the shot goes away is when he gets hacked hard in the, and then that thing starts bugging him, then obviously it affects it. So, like you said, if he can hit a few early and stay away from the hard, but everyone's going to hard foul him, they're going to scratch him, whatever. That's not going to happen. He's just going to have to fight through it. But man, it was nice to see the old Nuggets out on the court yesterday.
Yeah, I thought that's what they looked like, and it looks as though things are going to tighten up now. Still in 5th place, huge week. You're in Phoenix on tomorrow night. Suns have lost 5 of their last 6. They've been scuffling a bit. You got to go down there and get them. I like that matchup for Denver, but I don't know. You come back home against a dog-butt Dallas team on Wednesday, dog-butt Utah team coming up on Friday, Golden State with all of their injuries. Like, Andy, I'm looking at the week's slate ahead. They should go – I can't even say should go because that doesn't work with this team. They could go 4-0. I can absolutely see a world of 4-0. You're better than all of these teams. You'll be favored. I believe you'll be favored in every single one of these games. You could go 4-0. Will they? No. They're going to go 3-1. They're going to lose one of these games. I hate to say it, but they're just going to lose one of these games.
Could be the Wednesday night home one after that early morning arrival from Phoenix.
Could be.
I don't know. We'll see.
Could be something stupid on Sunday against Golden State where sometimes they play like crap at home. Maybe they're going to lose that. Maybe they go down to Phoenix and get stung. I don't know, but they're going to lose one of those games. They're not going 4-0.
Well, they need to try because the Rockets, Nuggets, Timberwolves are all separated now. Again, how do the Rockets have a couple less games than the Nuggets and the Timberwolves? The Rockets, for those that don't know, and I'm looking at the standings, are 43 and 27. And then the Nuggets and T-Wolves are both 44 and 28. We're this late into the year, and yet, this tells you how many back-to-backs the Nuggets have indeed played when both teams, the Rockets have 2 games in hand on the Nuggets and the T-Wolves. That's crazy.
You know what, though? That's you know what? We'll take it. They got to play more down the stretch.
Yeah, let's hope they screw it up. I'm with
exactly,
you.
Yeah, we'll certainly take it. We'll take more games in a kind of compacted schedule for them going forward. By the way, Houston starts a 4-game road trip tonight. They're playing a couple of tanking teams in there, but they're in Chicago tonight to play the Bulls, at Minnesota, at Memphis, and at New Orleans tonight. So,
all right. So, who do you root for, the Rockets or the T-Wolves, when it comes to that Minnesota T-Wolves matchup? Are you real? Does 5 or 6 float your boat more one way or the other?
Yeah, Andy. If I'm given the option, I'd rather the Nuggets be the 6 because you avoid Oklahoma City longer that way.
All right.
Yeah, this is what I said last week. Of number one, I think you beat the Lakers in a second-round series, even if you don't have home court advantage. I think you win a series with the Lakers and you avoid OKC as long as humanly possible. So, I'm actually okay with that.
See, it just makes me laugh because I don't love the Spurs either. The Spurs are just so long, and Wemby's such a freak.
Good. It's the West, man.
I know.
They're all awesome.
I know. Seriously, can we for just 1 year just seed it 1-16?
Dude,
my gosh.
Dude, we said it last week. The entire first team All NBA, I believe, is coming from the Western Conference this year. That's how good the West is. It's just a freaking weapon. It's Kreckman and Lindahl. It's Monday afternoon. Thrilled to be with you here today. Mark Springer is producing the program. That is Andy Lindahl in Lone Tree, Colorado. I am Nate Kreckman. We have so much to do with you. Jeff Legwald coming up at 4 o'clock. Further dissection of the Jalen Waddle edition. Plus, the Broncos do have a new safety. That actually did finally happen.
It would have been so funny if you're on the next day when it didn't happen, but yeah.
The Broncos! He was in, he was out, he was in, he was out. Legwald coming up at 4 o'clock, football news at 5. It's all happening on Kreckman and Lindahl on a Monday afternoon.
Guys, Andy Lindahl here for your friends over at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. Boy, we were talking about that Gabe situation. If you want to get further deep into what could have happened to Gabe, you can go talk to your guys over at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. I'm sure that they can give you some insights into that. But matter of fact, if you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, that's the better conversation. That's the one that's going to affect you. And if you've been avoiding date nights, just had the weekend, if Friday or Saturday didn't get much going for you because you're embarrassed about the situation, or maybe it's causing you to withdraw from any sort of seeking of a relationship or withdraw from a relationship you're in right now, it's time to go talk to the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic and talk about your performance. They can help you. They have treatments that work when pills and herbals fail, and treatments with success rates well over 90%. Some that will even have you lasting an hour or more if you so desire that. Go on over to the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, where they've served the Front Range of Colorado for nearly a decade and have successfully treated tens of thousands of men. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to put an end to that situation. Schedule your consult today. First visit, $99. You'll go in and you'll talk to a Colorado licensed medical provider, have a T and a PSA test, and if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if the test dose isn't working in the office, the visit is free. And if you're like a lot of men, you can be back to being your old self the day after your appointment. How about that? They have 5 locations in Colorado to serve you. They're basically all up and down 25 in Fort Collins and the Springs. Revamped location there in Castle Rock, and I go to the one in Central Denver. So go and talk to them today, 720-440-7900, or visit them at RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
19 minutes to go in regulation. Thompson turned it over to Natchez. Wide open for Landeskog. He scores! Oh, Captain! My Captain! Back with a bang is the Avalanche captain.
Well, he was banged in the testicles, and now he's back with a bang. Gabriel Landeskog. Andy, I was reading the story on NHL.com, by the way. They still refer to it as a lower body injury for Gabriel Landeskog.
It's the lower half, Nate. It is. What's the cutoff line? I've always gone north of that as the cutoff line.
I would call that region the equator. Or are we calling like right at the waist? Is that the equator? Between lower and upper body. How do we define that? It's somewhere in the pelvic region, is it not?
It is. It goes downwards though.
Okay.
You know what I'm getting a south vibe.
Okay.
Lower. Everything's Andy, weigh in on where
I know as you age it becomes more and more lower body.
What's this? You're going to put a bell on me this week. I don't have your little mic to show me. I know. I'm not going to be able to wander off like I tend to. Got to quit going over to the other side of the building.
Just yellow lab Andy wandering the building.
Poor Nate doesn't know what's up. I don't think it'll be a repeat of 3 weeks ago. I just go visit people that try to help us.
Well, it was good. I did start talking to you as soon as the segment started, and then I was like, oh, he's not there.
Okay, what lower body injury are we talking about? What
Spring
LBI?
Jumped in to help you out. Yes. I'm 1,500 miles away, and yet somehow I'm the one that's on the show.
You can't
today.
leave. You can't wander. You can't wander.
Oh, I can wander plenty. Don't you worry. High as a kite out here.
What I
love
about when you go back to your parents' place, we'll just tell everybody you're in your dad's workshop, but your
I'm in my
dad's workshop
shop.
is so like old school. Like that's every dad I knew in the 80s as I born in 74 or whatever.
Yeah.
This is what they had, right? And I love you got like the radio up top. You could tell you could just throw on a radio and go to work. Like
turntable.
My best friend in high school's
turntable
dad,
right there.
Shout out Jim Hopp. He had a garage, man. He had matter of fact, when his main garage wasn't enough, he went and rented another garage and they'd work on Mustangs. I remember listening to the Nuggets 94 playoff run on the radio with Jerry Schimmel while they worked on that Mustang. Because again, I know it's a crazy time now where you can pretty much find any sporting event anywhere you want to via legal stream or whatever.
Yeah.
We had the radio, man. I didn't have ESPN because I came from basically a lower middle class household that was not going to pay for cable, and you only got a few games on Channel 2. And so Jerry Schimmel was your guy, And
that relationship, it's so funny. And my parents have remodeled a lot of their home now. But what used to be my parents' bedroom, I used to sit like on the floor in front of their clock radio, the friggin' clock radio, Andy, and I would listen to Bulls playoff games because like first rounds when they were like playing Atlanta and crap like that, like those games they were on like Sports Channel or whatever the hell the thing was on cable. We didn't have cable. So that was how I took all that in. Neil Funk and Tom Borwinkle on the call was how I got that stuff. What's so funny is years later, I was calling a Chicago Rush versus Colorado Crush game, Andy, at the then Pepsi Center, and in the booth directly next to ours was Tom Borwinkle, former Bulls color man, calling the game for Chicago radio, except nobody had brought their equipment or their equipment didn't work or something like that. So dude was doing the call the game over the phone.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Have you ever had to do that?
Yeah, for high school.
I did it.
I did a bunch of Crush games. We never resorted to that.
I did a summer wood bat collegiate baseball game over the telephone one time. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Jerry Schimmel, I produced a Colorado State versus Northern Iowa game.
Okay.
Where the ISDN line didn't work, so
Sure.
Jerry Schimmel had to call that game over the telephone.
That's a pro.
And he was great about it.
Oh, Shem, yeah, you can't mess Shem up. No, man, that guy, he'll yell Jumanji about anything. That guy is as professional as they get. For whatever reason, he's not the Rockies broadcaster anymore, but he is as professional as they get out there. That dude, pretty damn good. By the way, speaking of CSU, they did fall, although they put a scare into Michigan State on Friday night. But yeah, CSU women lost. Buffs, Andy, J.R. Payne's Buffs, they lost to Illinois on Saturday night. So both of our Front Range teams eliminated in the first round in the NCAA women's tournament. So we don't have any Cinderellas from the Front Range this year.
I did settle in. Oh no, you know what I was doing? I was listening to our radio call on Westwood One, and the old Ali Farouk Manesh shot was played in a highlight. I go, there it is. Nate was talking about it.
Hell yeah.
I've never really, because I don't, I will admit, you know what the Final Four was? Like, I would watch the Final Four, and I have vivid memories of when it was here in Denver and UNLV won it with their great team, and just I thought the cool logo. We had our little mountaintop logo for when it showed up here at the then Mick Nichols Arena. That's how far back that
t-shirt,
goes.
if you can find that, by the way.
But I remember the mini basketballs. I used to love Final Four time because like Pizza Hut would give you a mini basketball every time, like a little, like the actual like mini ones you could still go shoot outside with. You know what I mean? They were still, they weren't leather, they were rubber, but they were still fun little basketballs.
Well,
you
Andy,
could still play the hoop on.
I mean, for somebody that apparently doesn't know hoops, you are currently leading the Not Another Bracket Challenge. You check the standings at altitudesportsradio.com/notabracket. By the way, our leader, Kevin, we got a Kevin in there, still has 4 teams alive, including Iowa and Texas, a 9 and 11 seed. Oh, he racked up points over the weekend. Way to go, Kevin. The Not Another Bracket Challenge, powered by Groove Toyota. Start there, go anywhere on Broadway in Englewood or online at groovetoyota.com. But amongst the staff here, Andy is actually in first place. I'm lagging right now in 4th. But Andy currently in first, ahead of Brett Kane and KJ.
You know what I feel like? I feel
is it like Bones?
I feel like a cornerback right now. I had a good weekend, not too many PIs. We'll see if the next round of games get, you know what I mean?
You were a penalty-free performance from Riley Moss.
Yeah, well, I'm a white corner. There's no doubt about it. The refs are profiling me out there. If I get handsy at all, they go looking for the flag. So I kept my hands off. Hey, like a lot of dates in the 90s, hands off, pal.
Hands off.
So yeah, that's how that. But see, my strategy was simple and I'm like Dolores, the secretary, who likes the UNC logo. So I picked that one right now. I decided I'd mainly try to feast off 4 and 5s. I think, what did I get? I think I put Arizona in there. They were a 1, right? Were they a 1 or a 2?
You got Arizona. Arizona's into the Sweet 16. You got UConn, who rolled. You got Michigan State as a 3 seed.
I like Michigan State because they always seem to be. There's just Tom Izzo. He's a punk this time of year. Isn't he, Tom Izzo and his guys?
Oh, dude, you gotta see this dude for Michigan State, Cohen Carr, number 55. I mean, Andy. He's college Aaron Gordon. Holy bleep, can this guy jump? I mean, jump.
See, I'd like to say, could the Nuggets draft him, but I don't even know when we have another pick to try.
The bounce that this guy has is just, when he gets into the open floor, good night. That dude, they got Fears, who's an all Big Ten point guard, but Cohen Carr is worth the price of admission when you're watching Michigan State. So actually, I'm jealous of you for taking the Spartans. I couldn't take them on account of hating them with every bit of my soul. But I did. Even I have to admit, Cohen Carr is cool. You got Arkansas.
Yep, for Scotty.
Yeah, Razorbacks. They're rolling, and you got UCLA, who is done, but still. Good tournament. So you got a win out of a 7 seed. See, that's like, that helped me. I got a win out of a 6 seed in Louisville. And then they got trounced. So anyway, check the standings, everybody. altitudesportsradio.com/notabracket. And best of luck to Kevin, who is just hoping for Iowa to knock off Nebraska, for Texas to keep rolling. Well done to him. Iowa upsetting Florida yesterday. The press break that Iowa ran, it looked like an NBA game. What was wild about it, Andy, was it is so funny. You get kind of programmed into watching a particular version of the game, and I probably watched, I don't know, 15 college basketball games in between the time when I watched the last Nuggets game on Friday night. And it is crazy. Like, college basketball is 5-on-5 basketball. It is played in the half court, largely, you know. NBA basketball is pace and numbers, and that's how you ultimately win. And you very rarely see too many half-court sets, and even when you do, the skill level is so absurd. The shot-making is so absurd. Like, you really have to – I mean, these teams just – they got to work. They got to work to be able to create those good looks at the college level. It's just they are very, very different games, man. It is striking when you watch the difference between the two of them.
But you told me that you love this tournament. You've
I think
enjoyed this tournament immensely. So
yeah, I have.
Why is that? Because it's the NIL era, right?
Yes.
I guess one of the reasons why I didn't do a full bracket this year is that I feel like, God, the player movement's so much. I don't know what college has got, like the 4-year, 5 4-year seniors. It's going to cause problems to the
Nobody
team that are
does.
still trying to find. I know, because now the 5-year, the old, what was it? The Colgate, the Lehigh, the whatever, with their 5 guys that just grew up playing together.
Yeah.
That's ended because now even one of those guys is going to get an NIL deal and leave somewhere else,
yeah,
right?
If you're good, you're going to a different school. That's, and that's what's so funny about it is, like, I'm watching High Point, play the other night, and like Rob Martin, the little 5'10" point guard from High Point, is a super fun player, and you're like, well, where's he going to play next year?
Well, Utah State just lost their coach about an hour ago. You saw that, right?
Did Calhoun
Headed
take the
to
Cincinnati job?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
already out of here. And then somebody, I already forgot the school, went to Arizona State. We've already got coaches. Like, again, I'm not knocking the players. Coaches are already jumping for bigger jobs, too.
Well, what's crazy about Utah State, too, is Jared Calhoun taking that job. I believe by next year, Utah State will be on to, like, their 5th coach in 7 years. And that's a good mid-major program. Like, they win every single year. Ryan Odom, who was there, 2-3 years ago? He's at Virginia now. So there's really good coaches that have come through that program, and what Stu Morrill built all those years ago. But they're still going. No, the tournament has been really, really good. It truly has been. And here's what I will tell you. One of the key differences in what the tournament at least is this year, okay? I don't think we have a big enough of a sample size yet, Andy, to fully judge what it is. But we got 4 double-digit seeds in the round of 32, right? High Point, Texas A&M, VCU, Texas, all won in their opening round. In the case of Texas, they had to win in the first 4 as well. And only one of them advanced. Texas is the only one of those teams that's still alive in the Sweet 16. There's no mid-majors left, but I'm okay with that in this current reality of college basketball. Like, right now in this tournament, and maybe this is what it is going forward, maybe it's not, I don't know. But the round of 32 upsets, where we would get double-digit seeds into the Sweet 16 and mid-majors into the Sweet 16, the George Masons of the world, etc. Well, that now happens in the opening round, okay?
Right.
That happens in the round of 64, and you're going to get some of those games. Again, High Point gave that to us, right? VCU came back from 19 down to beat North Carolina. We got that. So those are still happening. They happen a round sooner. And now in the round of 32, kind of game straightened out a little bit. Florida was the only 1 seed that was eliminated. But things are sort of now balanced out. And you look at this Sweet 16, the quality of matchups it's awesome now. Like Duke, St. John's, Michigan State, UConn, just nothing but blue bloods, right? Illinois, Houston, styles make fight. That game's going to be unbelievable. Iowa, Nebraska, battle of the corn from a couple of Big Ten teams. Rick Barnes in Tennessee still rolling. They got Iowa State, Michigan, and Alabama. Going to be great. Arizona, Arkansas, Texas, Purdue. It's nothing but powerhouse programs, big dollar programs that are left. And you know what? I'm all right. I want to watch every single one of these games. I think these games are going to be good. I don't think we're going to see many blowouts in there. We've had buzzer beaters. We've had upsets. And now, again, going into the round of 16, we have nothing but good games and good coaches and good players left in this tournament. And I like that it looks like this. one of the things that you have always said to me is, yeah, the Cinderellas are fun, but you don't want them to go too far.
Yeah, because nobody likes watching them get smoked come the 16th,
Right.
And frankly, let's be honest, there's a fantasy football element to this, right?
Sure.
Where if you've got a bracket, everybody loves to pick the Cinderella. No one's picking Cinderella to the Final Four. And so once you lose, once Cinderella invades the Elite Eight or something, everybody's mad because their bracket's busted and the people that are casuals bail out.
And what's funny about it, too, is we've never had a Cinderella win the NCAA tournament before, okay? We really haven't. And and again, a couple of years ago, what happened when San Diego State made their miracle run and, they beat FAU on the buzzer beater by Lamont Butler. And then they go to the national championship game, and UConn just blasts them, right? I mean, I guess Butler and Gordon Hayward, remember the buzzer beater shot at the horn and it went out, and that against Duke, that was probably as close as it gets. But Cinderellas don't win the tournament, so now again in the power conference era of college basketball, because that's truly what this is. There's nothing but powerhouses left. And I mean, you look at these games coming up Thursday, Friday, they are just friggin' awesome. So I think this tournament has had upsets, it has had buzzer beaters, it has had fun stories that have popped into our consciousness. Just learning the stories of, again, learning about Robbie Avila from St. Louis. Go look up all of his nicknames. The dude is just so much fun. Okay? They were calling him Steph Blurry on the broadcast the other night. Dude is awesome, right? The transfer from Indiana State, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The guy is a ton of fun. Dylan Darling, the buzzer-beating layup with no time left. That was his first bucket of the game. High Point when they beat Wisconsin, and the kid winning the game on his first two-pointer of the season. The stories have been there, and now it's just nothing but good teams left. I think it's been a good tournament. I'm giving it 2 thumbs up as a college basketball fan. I'm loving it.
Good. I like that. Glad to hear it.
Yeah, good tournament. I've been glued to it. It's Kreckman and Lindahl. It's a Monday afternoon.
I just want Illinois out. I don't know. I think sad, angry Kreckman when Illinois is eliminated. Sometimes it's good for the show.
Dude, I'm really nervous about Thursday.
I was about to say, you're not on Friday, so we need Illinois to at least make it to Saturday so fresh anger can pour out of you, can wash over you like a mountain stream come Monday.
Andy, if we beat Houston on Thursday, we're a Final Four team, and we could be. I mean, we're a friggin' machine right now. We've won 2 games by an average of 28 points, best offensive team in the country. It's just we're playing Kelvin Sampson's defensive juggernaut coming up here on Thursday. I'm very nervous about this game.
And you'll be home to watch it, of all things.
I will be.
You're gonna drive up to the old stomping grounds or drive down? I don't even know where it is.
Right, Champaign is way downstate.
Yeah.
I'm not driving to Champaign.
Abby's not approved that.
No, I'm not approving it. I'm not going to spend 3 hours scooting through a cornfield, putting my life in my own hands. My God, no, thank you. I'm good. My parents' comfy couch will be just fine for watching a game on Thursday night. Kreckman and Lindahl, Monday afternoon, Altitude Sports Radio. Hey guys, Nate Kreckman here for my friends over at Roller Auction. Look, I don't have to tell you, buying a used car for your next vehicle, it's one of the wisest purchases that you can make. But Purchasing one from a dealership can be tricky. Great way for you to feel confident in your next car. Buy a former government vehicle. And with Roller Auctions, government fleet vehicle and equipment auctions, it is so easy. You skip the salesperson. You buy online with Roller Auction. These cars have a known and well-documented service history, which will be provided to you. They're well-maintained, and you skip all of the dealership hassle. You do it all online. Roller.bid/altitude. The April 2026 government fleet vehicles and equipment auction is going to open up on April 2nd. You'll have about a week. Make sure you sign up to bid right now at roller.bid/altitude. That's roller.bid/altitude. You're entered to win Avalanche tickets, catered suite tickets for their upcoming home game against the Calgary Flames. You want to win those tickets? Sign up to bid right now at roller.bid/altitude. That's Andy Lindahl. I'm Nate Kreckman. It is a Monday afternoon on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Jeff Legwald coming up at 4 o'clock. Andy, it did happen. Tyson Anderson is a Bronco.
Yeah, I saw that.
Some consternation on the show on Wednesday.
Who was our guy we checked? Who was that?
His name was Yanni.
Yanni, yeah. Yanni. I wasn't sure I was ready to trust Yanni.
Somebody named Yanni
and not
on
the musician.
Twitter told us, Andy, it could have been. We don't know.
Could have been.
Could have been.
He's got to make extra cash, too.
Yeah, he moonlights as an NFL insider, NFL aggregator on the side. It's like, well, I got a gig at the Acropolis, and then I'm going to hop online and share some news about special teamers signing with teams.
What if we find out Yanni's Dove Cleveland or something like that? Huh? Yeah.
International, what world music star? I guess is what you would call Yanni.
Pavarotti, Luciano Pavarotti is just aggregating NFL info because he's got nothing better to do as he waits to go on.
Domingo Pavarotti and the other guy.
Yeah.
So
is there Luciano? Is it Domingo or is it Luciano? No, I don't even know.
Sounds good to me.
Whatever. It's a Pavarotti. That guy that sings and not Meatloaf. R.I.P. Bud.
What's your favorite dish, meatloaf or Pavarotti? What do you order?
Pavarotti's more what I'd go to when I go to Maggiano's, I guess. Or
it's nice.
I've heard Big Bill's is a nice Pavarotti if
I
you
like the
catch
Pavarotti
it on the right day.
with the ricotta.
Anyway.
Yes.
So we've got a new safety. What do you know? Tyson
Anderson. He's special teams guy, but they signed an outside free agent. It did happen.
Yeah, they got one.
Good.
One's in the building.
Yeah, they got one.
Did you see Sean talking to Kay Adams about all things free agency and flag football over the weekend?
I missed this.
Yeah.
This was off my radar.
There's a vibe there. Yeah.
I
wonder.
Whoa.
Yeah, just saying.
I'd say we need a joker.
He told her that, too.
He's comfortable.
He basically told her free agency did not go the way they thought, or hoped. Called it rough. The clip's in the system if we want to play it, but I'm sure we're...
Play it for me.
You want to play it for you? Hey, dig it on up. Sean Payton on free agency with Kay Adams there. Spring. I didn't mean to put Spring on the spot there.
No,
but...
he's on it. He is. Okay? Respond to it, all right?
You can tell by his face he's not on it yet.
I've been traveling. I'm all over the world right now. Sometimes I miss things. So I, especially if it's Sean Payton talking to Kay Adams, I'm not eagerly clicking on that video to begin with.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I need to hear this.
Sure.
No, I'm okay. Okay. It's the look of befuddlement on the face of Mark Springer right now.
Well, all I'm saying is he just said it didn't go the way they hoped. Who do you think?
They thought everyone would be cheaper?
Yeah.
Is that what they were hoping for? Nobody's ever cheaper. Okay,
Spring's
we have
moving.
the offer.
All right, let's wait, because I got a question for you based off this. Go ahead.
Appears to be Sean Payton on Jalen Waddle with a comment on free agency.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
What do you love about Waddle?
There's a grit to him. Guys like Teddy Bridgewater, Nick Saban. I mean, a ton of people talk about his high competes. The minute it happened, though, there was this immediate thought he would be perfect for this game.
I knew you were going to say that.
Having had a chance to meet our international team, and I've seen 18 of their games.
You watched 18 games. Is this what you were doing instead of signing people during the first couple of days of free agency?
Yeah, free agency was tough.
So, by the way, when I get the competes, I hate that. You know, I got to go get some medicine. The competes don't go away as quickly as I like, but the competes, they'll get you. He said free agency didn't go the way that we would like. So who do you think he's talking about? Who do you think was the free agent that they really want? Is it HN?
It's got to be a running back.
It's got to be him, right? I firmly believe they had no interest in Ken Walker. So, or Skywalker, frankly, for that matter.
Kenneth Walker, like the price tag was just so high. I think they automatically were turned off to that. You know, I think they've attempted to sell it as J.K. Dobbins was who they really wanted. Oh, J.K. was working in the facility, and Sean called him up to the office and immediately let him know you were our guy, and J.K. wanted to be here. I don't think that was Plan A. I think that was I think they always knew that J.K. Dobbins was in the pocket because I don't think there was a huge market of teams clamoring to sign J.K. Dobbins.
No, I'm with you. The injury history is what it is, whether you like it or not. It sucks for him because when he's healthy, he's one of the best backs in the league.
Really
but
good.
He's not healthy enough.
If he plays 15 to 17 next year and is healthy in the postseason, it's a different Broncos team. They could win 2 more games. They could do that. So I don't think that was Plan A. I do think it was at running back, and whether it was HN or any of the other names that were out there of
what
Dukes,
about
Breece Hall, I think was something they had a real interest in, and then he got franchised, and so they never got an opportunity to go and splurge. And that's just how it ended up for them. I think they wanted an upgrade and they didn't get it.
Okonkwo? Help me out. Who is our tight end?
Chig Okonkwo.
Okonkwo. You think you might have been talking about him too? Word was
They
the
coulda had him,
Broncos
though.
were in on him.
But that's dumb. They could have had him.
All right. Are they going to regret being cheap this offseason, or are they being smart with what Jeff's already told us? Cap's tight next year, and we're assuming right now the assumption is Bo Nix is about to get himself a nice payday in a couple of years here. So you think they'll regret this?
Yeah, probably.
Really? All right.
Well, because Andy, okay, let me put it to you this way, all right? If you were asking me, who do you think wins the Super Bowl next year, the Broncos or the field?
Oh,
I'm betting the field 1,000 times out of
You're
1,000. Right. Okay? So, and that is no knock on Denver. It's just chances are they're probably not going to win the Super Bowl. Okay? And so we're going to be looking at those little things on the margins as to what could have led to a step back this year? What could have led to a team that won as many one-score games that didn't have the same kind of luck, maybe not the same injury luck next season, that weren't able to get it all done? And I do think, ultimately, we're going to look at a team that, yet again, is going to have been better on the defensive side of the ball than the offensive side of the ball. And that's even with the addition of Jalen Waddle. And then when you get to that point, like we did this year, you're always looking for the little things. This year, the conversation was, why wasn't Evan Engram good enough?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And why didn't they use him? Why don't they throw the ball to Marvin Mims? Okay? What if J.K. Dobbins didn't suffer an injury back in Week 10 and he could have been able to finish out the season? Aren't those kind of the big what-ifs that we talk about for a team that scored 7 points in the AFC Championship game? And Stiddy and weather be damned, you still scored 7 friggin' points in the AFC Championship game. Like, your downfall came on the offensive side of the ball. My prediction is that if and when you fall short again next season, it will also be on that side of the ball, which then we'll be talking about why didn't they upgrade. And I'm going to be screaming about, why'd you leave your tight ends alone? Why did you think that room was good enough? Because that's what I've been screaming about the whole time. And I love the Waddle signing, or trade. Excuse me. Like, I think it's a brilliant trade. I think a great player to add to the room. But again, like, you'll probably fall short. There's no guarantee, but you probably will. And then what are we going to be talking about? I think skill positions.
Yeah. I mean, look, I've been talking about the tight ends for how many years? The tight ends, to me, with what you've got in Bo Nix, and again with Okonkwo out there, and Jeff Legwald had told us that guy is the man in the area of the field that Bo Nix loves to work in.
Yeah.
Just doesn't make any sense why you didn't make sure you had enough dollars to get him here. So
why not get competitive in a K. Dotton market or anything
Sure.
like that? Again, just to bring back the same room of one of the worst tight end groups in the NFL, I think is dumb. Now, maybe Jalen Waddle will be so good in the middle of the field and in the deep intermediate that we won't even be talking about tight end production. We'll go, who flipping cares about tight end production? Or maybe his ability to be able to work that, Jalen Waddle to be able to work that intermediate part of the field, means that Evan Engram is going to be open, 5-6 yards beyond the line of scrimmage on all those little pivot routes, and then boom, Evan Engram becomes a first down machine. Maybe he can become that, okay? And these things could all happen, and the Broncos could get rolling, and they could go 15-2, and they could win a Super Bowl, and everyone could go, yeah, I remember what Nate said back on March 23rd. He's a big dummy, and I'm fine by that. Again, I'll wear that shirt proudly, but chances are they don't, and we'll be talking about skill positions.
Yeah, well, and to your point, and we'll talk to Leggy about it coming up next. Maybe we ask him.
Yeah.
Can they trade up for a tight end? That needs to be addressed, man. I'm sorry. The one
agree.
position on the team you've got to address is tight end somehow.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And they'll probably draft middle linebacker or a safety or something like that. And they need those guys too. Kreckman and Lindahl, Monday afternoon. Jeff Legwald talking Broncos and NFL right after this. Come on back. Let's dive right into a Jeff Legwald conversation to begin hour number 2. Leggy is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW, Local 68. You start with a job and you end with a career. Jeff, Tyson Anderson, safety, is apparently now a Bronco. What is the envisioned role for new guy Tyson Anderson?
Well, he has 0 starts in his NFL career, so you're looking at.
But how many finishes, Jeff?
Yeah, no, this is right out of the gate. It's a special team signing.
Yeah.
Again, this is their very, very targeted approach to free agency. That they have a specific job in mind for this kind of player, and they waited until they could get him, at their price, essentially. But he's going into his 4th year. He's played in every game of his career. He's just never started. So, and I think they see some potential in the defense if they develop and all those things. But this is a special teams guy.
All right, Jeff. Is there any possibility?
Wow, Andy, no Tyson Anderson follow-up. Unbelievable.
Sorry, I don't. When the guy has no starts, and frankly, who was it who pulled out the rating the other day? Where he was like, who was it? Spring? Wasn't that Spring where we found out he was like 3 from the very bottom as far as whatever the rating was possible for a player? You don't remember that from our high five on Wednesday?
Oh, it was his approximate value on Pro Football
Wasn't that
Reference.
you? Wasn't that you that found that?
It was very low. Yeah, he got a 1 last year.
Yeah,
a 1.
Jeff, this is the kind of information that we give you. I mean, this dude, you don't need him at all. David Njoku. Nate and I just got done talking about, will they do anything with the tight end position? Is this a guy that would possibly fit the system if they chose to bring him in? You talked about the targeted approach right there. Is there any other targeted guy, or are they just done? Do we just have to accept that I guess you told us whenever we last talked Wednesday, you think maybe the June 1st they'll get action? Is that just what we're waiting on right now?
Well, I mean, look, you guys know I never say never with this team. I have seen too much over the years to officially declare them done with anything. They're always going to look. They're always going to consider players like Njoku. But I will say, and have said to you guys, when price point meets demand, that's when the player arrives. And obviously there is no other free agent. I mean, they signed Tyson Anderson as their only outside free agent. And I mean, just logically, that tells you no one else in the marketplace from another team met price point and demand. Those points did not intersect at any point right now for another player. I think, again, everybody can be fit into me. That's always the case. But the information I have is you might see a Dobbins signing later, when they see what the draft unfolds. They see who else is still out there. They see the team on the field in OTAs and some of the other things, and they can have a little more information about the guys coming back from injury and all those things. But right now, I'm not getting the impression that there is another signing in their pocket. I think their feeling is they expended a lot of energy and capital for Jalen Waddle too.
All right, so let me follow up with this because
and again, Andy, they re-signed 3 tight ends of their own.
I know, but I mean, whatever.
And
Those 3
Waddle,
tight ends have been about worth the 1 share that this safety has been.
I'm just saying the Waddle trade means this team's in 3 wide an awful lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ingram's got another year left on the deal. I mean, how much more are you going to expend at a position where you might only have one of them on the field much of the time?
All right. So Sean Payton tells Kay Adams, because what I love about having you on is you like to really slice through fact and fiction, right? Sean Payton tells Kay Adams that free agency didn't go the way they wanted to or hoped or however he put it. But the bottom line is he suggested, there's some guys maybe we wanted, but we weren't able to get. Who do you think they're most disappointed they didn't get in the building? Was it your guy Okonkwo? Was it HN? I guess is how we're saying it now. Who do you think, if they had one guy you think they did want, who would that be that maybe they didn't even get in the building?
Well, they were in on the receiver, Romeo Doubs.
Okay.
And they were in on a Chen.
Sure.
They
Bless
were
you.
in on those two guys the deepest in the going around. But when again, price point went beyond where they were willing to go. So when he says it didn't go the way they expected, that really means the guys were more expensive than they wanted to spend.
That's just what it comes down to. The market didn't hit where they wanted to be. Ultimately, Jeff, making a trade for Jalen Waddle, making that upgrade at the skill position, having to give up a 1 and a 3. I guess you do improve your fourth round draft spot by 19 spots, I believe. So that's a nice little carrot in that trade. But ultimately, and again, we're parsing some of this out. Some of this is semantic, but like, did the Broncos want to avoid delving into the trade market if they could have, but ultimately that was the only way to get the upgrade that they really wanted?
I think, Andy, they had tried to, they at least tinkered with the idea of getting Waddle in a trade at the deadline last season. So this is not a new topic for them. This is a player they wanted, and they figured, as everyone did in the league, the Dolphins were going full fire sale.
Yeah.
It's at some point, and by the way, I don't have a dog in the hunt or anything, but if I'm Malik Willis, I'm like, hey, wait a second,
Yeah.
You signed me, and then you got rid of all the guys. But anyway, I think they wanted to acquire him. I think they may have surrendered a little more than they expected because they did not get anybody else in free agency. So it put them in a position where if they were going to get him, they were probably going to have to give up one more pick or a higher round pick than they, in the grouping of picks, than they originally intended. They'll never admit it, but I would think that price was a little higher than they planned on surrendering.
All right, Jeff Legwald with us here on a Monday afternoon talking about the Broncos offseason. Jeff, I want to pivot the discussion to something that your colleague Bill Barnwell wrote about on ESPN.com. And he was writing about perceived roster holes for every team in the NFL. And I was a little surprised by what he brought up with the Broncos. Yes, they lost John Franklin Myers, okay? And he was a significant contributor. Dude's just a really friggin' good football player. And it was a coup to get him for a sixth-rounder originally from the Jets. He was good the entire time that he was a Bronco. His departure, kind of moving Yomo Wazirike up in the pecking order at defensive tackle. And I know that the organization likes him, but do the Broncos maybe still have to address something at that position?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. And their 30 visits reflect that. They've got several defensive linemen in their 30 visits, which are, if you want a good tracker for the Broncos, and that's why they don't give those names up very easily, because they're drafting those guys. Those are very good indicators of who they like. And the issue is, it's not just snaps. Wazirike played 450 some snaps. I think John Franklin Myers played just over 500 last year. So the snap differential isn't different, but the quality of snaps, every snap Franklin Myers plays looks the same. You know what I mean? It's the same level of effort, performance, assignment, sound, all of it. His snaps are way consistent. That's the part you're trying to replace. Wazirike had some very good-looking snaps when I went back through it, but there's more of a difference between his floor and the ceiling. Whereas Franklin Myers, Vance Joseph, and their coach, they knew exactly what every snap was going to look like with him, and that's the tough part to replace. So, and again, I think that's why they've had a lot of late day 2, day 3 defensive linemen into the building along the way.
Along those lines, are they getting concerned about, and this is on both sides of the trenches, and they're really good on both sides of the trenches, but is age starting to become a concern with both of those groups?
Well, and yes. short answer is yes. McGlinchey has had some aches and pain. He limps a lot after play. I mean, it's natural.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hard friggin' job to do. And Garrett Bowles, he's already beaten the odds. And he was an older player when he entered the league. I think he was 26 when he was drafted. So his 9 years in the league aren't like everybody else's 9 years in the league because he started later on the timeline. So, yeah, tackle especially. I think that's why you always hear Sean Payton say, we're always going to address the lines in the draft. And I think that's why. Also, when the draft build model is what they're using these days. The majority of what they're doing is the draft build model. To make that work, when you re-sign all these guys, Zach Gallen, Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, when you re-sign that huge list of players, age is always going to be a little bit of an issue because those guys are in their second and third contracts. So your only way to combat that is to be really good in the draft, backfilling every year.
Yeah.
The theory is John Franklin Myers leaves, you have a player ready to step into that role on a rookie deal, and so that helps your cap and your play on the field. But yeah, age, when you re-sign this many guys and you sort of run it back, that is the danger. You've got to wrestle with how much is too much, how long is too long to keep people. And, that's why a lot of GMs say it's not a popular opinion, but better to get rid of a player a year too soon than a year too late.
All right, Jeff, did you check in on any of the flag football this weekend? I got to be honest with you, I forgot it was even going on. I heard some people. I heard DMac saying Sean Payton had trouble getting plays in even to that one. I mean, what'd you make of all that?
I tinkered with the idea of going out there just to get Sean because I'm not going to the owners' meetings. Where that'll be the first time he comments on anything in the offseason since the combine. So, but yeah, no, I didn't see. It's cool. It's gonna be in the Olympics, though.
Yeah.
I do dig that. I like that aspect of it.
Yeah, Hoosh couldn't be stopped, man. You can only hope to contain Hoosh. Apparently,
if we can't win the gold in flag football, there's something up.
What if Canada beats us? Then what? We're gonna have a whole thing again? Is this all gonna repeat itself here or something like that?
Well, that's how you know how they feel about the hockey.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm kind of.
Flag football, two nations.
Were you
Cup
ever a good
be
flag
intense.
football player there, Leggy? You're low to the ground. You got a little wiggle to you, I guess. I mean, were you ever?
No, back in the day, I had decent speed for a short, squatty guy.
He was the Hoosh of his time.
So what are we talking? 6 second 40? What are we doing?
No, I could actually run before age crept in. So
I've seen Leggy had some sweet hair back in the day there, Nate. Some sweet long hair. Hippie Leggy, right. We got to get onto the board one day behind us.
It ain't right.
Oh, he's the great Jeff Legwald, everybody.
I did Tom Green's podcast the other day, and he had stuff I had written in the Daily Illini. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there in the universe.
Did he pull up the DI microfiche? What did he do?
Man, he had like copies of stories I wrote in 1984. Man, it was unbelievable.
Amazing, man. That's great. I gotta go back and watch this. All right, well, Jeff Legwald, everybody.
Nobody, you guys know. You've done it a million times. An hour with me is like 6 with somebody else.
6 with your tax guy.
All right, Jeff.
Oh, he did okay this year. I got slaughtered. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for reminding me of that. I'm going to go take a lap.
All right, Jeff Legwald, go. And
you owe us $1 now, Jeff.
Yeah, and tape an aspirin to it, all right,
I'll
Jeff?
explain at lunch tomorrow.
There's a lot of crankiness in the bunker right now.
Oh,
things are not going well.
Can't wait to spend time with you over a meal tomorrow, then.
Yeah.
Oh, top 100 is going to be salty this year, folks.
Internet issues. I mean, I can't call up the video. I mean, we're having some issues in the bunker right now.
Hey, the good news is, Jeff, Sweet 16. Okay,
yeah,
just rolling.
I like, I'd like to ask the SEC what they think of Big Ten basketball now.
Wow. Well, look
Yeah.
who's feeling saucy.
Big
All right.
weekend. Hey, it's a very Midwestern flavor in the Sweet 16 this year. Yeah.
It's the Pizza Four, not the Final Four.
All right, Jeff, well done as always, man. Thank you.
Stay fellas.
That's our buddy Jeff Legwald with us right there on a Monday afternoon here on the Kreckman and Lindahl show. Yeah, Andy, it really is, man. The amount of Midwest that is in this Sweet 16 is kind of incredible. Huge tournament for the Big Ten so far. I mean, SEC's holding their own too. Don't get me wrong. We got some Big East in there. We got some Big 12 in there. But largely, this is the Big Ten's tournament so far this year, and it's dollars. It is dollars. You have the best rosters. You have the best coaches. I mean, when you like, for example, and I know I hammer away on them. When you watch Illinois, and you see the quality of talent that they have brought in from overseas. Page's kid coming off the bench, just getting to the rim whenever he wants to. It is absolutely ridiculous. I'm watching Nebraska last night. Like, Andy, Nebraska ball was like forget it. It's been terrible our entire lives, and now you got Hoiberg's kid getting a huge tip in. They got the Big Ten sixth man of the year, Frager, with the game winner last night. Or I guess that was on Saturday night against Vanderbilt. Unbelievable game. I tell you how good that game was. Really, the two late games on Saturday, which was Nebraska-Vandy, which Vandy almost winning that thing on a 60-foot heave at the buzzer, that it was halfway down, and then it went out. And then High Point, Arkansas, and Acuff going off for, I think he went for 36, so they could survive High Point. I was rolling on 3 hours of sleep on Saturday after a very early morning travel day, and I was wide awake, man. I was glued to the television on Saturday night. The tournament was so good.
Whitlock had a funny tweet where he put out there, he said the SEC's been replaced by the exciting whites with the Iowa and Nebraska moving on. So that was pretty good.
Man,
there was a whole lot of Farmer Tan arms on that basketball court during that Nebraska game. That's all I'll say.
A lot of corn-fed McTryhards out there.
A lot of guys you can tell got one arm out the truck window. That's about it.
There was a lot of those dudes out there getting buckets, man. It was silly. And then, I mean, Florida, you should be ashamed of yourself for losing to Iowa. You should absolutely be ashamed of yourselves for losing that game and just leaving a wide-open corner three at the end of regulation the way that you did. So they're the one and only one seed that is out. But, Andy, like, that's what's so funny about it is people are like, oh, it's so chalky. Kentucky, Kansas, and North Carolina, the bluest of the blue bloods, are all out of this tournament. And Duke got a scare from Siena already in this tournament. So it's – like, yes, the matchups are awesome now, but this thing has not been smooth sailing for every favorite.
And you'll get better games next weekend. You'll be happy. Everybody be fine.
Next weekend's going to kick ass, I'm telling you. Kreckman and Lindahl. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, what did we learn about that Nuggets victory yesterday with the return of Peyton Watson? I'll tell you something very important that I saw in that game. That's next.
Gordon lobs it off inside the arc over to Jokic. Throws it in the corner to Christian. Christian goes baseline, off to a cutter. Gordon in a dunk with a right-handed tomahawk. That puts the Denver Nuggets on top of Portland by 19 points with 3:20 to go in Denver. And this thing is over!
Yeah, that was AG classic right there. Cocked that thing all the way back before yamming it. That was a thing of beauty. Nuggets blast the Blazers last night. Andy, I think what we're seeing here is David Adelman paring things down as we go forwards towards the postseason. And last night, he went with a second unit of Jamal Murray along with Bruce Brown, Peyton Watson, Tim Hardaway, and Spencer Jones. Jones played 11 minutes last night, but you see, I think, clearly the delineation of what the top 8 is when this team is healthy, and it is, the starting 5 plus Watson, Hardaway, and Brown, that being Bruce, and then Spencer Jones deployed in a limited role. That 11 minutes from last night goes down to, 4 to 6 minutes probably in a playoff game, but you want Spencer Jones to hit the floor and get some stops, and that's what he did last night. He was a big part of that run that they made in the second quarter yesterday. He had a dunk on a lob. Okay, that's certainly good to see out of Spencer Jones right there. And it's a small ball lineup. Valanciunas did not play last night, and David Adelman talked about what he's hoping to see out of the small ball second unit going forward the rest of the way. Here is the Nuggets head coach after the game yesterday.
Yeah, I think it's got to be forcing turnovers. We did that to start the fourth and got some easy baskets that way. And then I think the second part of that is when we play offensively, we did it a few times, we have to get better at finding the roller. One team switch 1 through 5 against that group because they will. And Jamal will get blitzed and all those things. So there's been enough positives in the last couple of games where I've seen guys play make. We got Pate on the roll. He missed the shot, but it was a good play. Spence the other night made an unbelievable pass to Tim in the corner. And so offensively, I think it's going to be, certain nights it'll look tough out there. But defensively, I think it can really shut people down. And if we're, we've always talked about this, if we're a plus with that group, which we were in the second half, I think we were -1 in the first half, we know it's coming back in. And that starting 5, offensively and defensively, honestly, the efficiency has been very impressive this season. So just trying to find a group that can do that. And with that being said, I said it in the locker room to these guys, Valanciunas didn't play tonight. He's got to stay ready. Julian Strawther not in the rotation tonight. Jules started for us, won us games. Jalen Pickett, Zeke Naji, all these guys have had impacts this season. So that's going to be the challenge for this team, is being unselfish. And if it's not your night, staying locked in, being ready. But right now, that lineup, that second unit, it's been very effective.
Okay, so some key things that he said in there. He mentioned Valanciunas. Andy, Valanciunas is a pure just matchup chess piece in the postseason, okay? Against bigger teams when you need him, Minnesota, Houston, if you get one of those matchups, I think Val's going to play. I think if they're playing Oklahoma City, the Lakers, I don't think you're going to see a lot of Jonas Valanciunas in those series. I doubt that. Julian Strawther, he mentioned Strawther right there. I think that Strawther he's the next man up should Tim Hardaway struggle, should Watson have, I don't think he's going to struggle, but should Watson have any lingering issues from the hamstring or anything else like that. But I think, very clearly you see what the delineation is with this team right now. This is what he wants the lineup to look like, and I was pretty impressed with what I saw out of that group yesterday.
Yeah, it's interesting because it feels like we may be seeing the last couple months of Jonas Valanciunas, Denver Nugget at this point. Probably
yeah.
The way he put it there, he's got to stay ready. That wasn't, hey, I promise you he's playing next game. He's not. He's playing tomorrow night against Phoenix. No, he said you better stay ready because, again, unfortunately, too often. And I was so excited to watch Big Val in this lineup and all that. But, man, he's just looked slower than I expected at points. He's been good for rebounding at times, but, he can't get out to cover guys at other times. And Strawther, you know what? Strawther needs to have a Peyton Watson summer for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
He needs to he needs to show next year there's a true growth and consistency in the game that Peyton Watson has shown everybody this year.
Well, and I'll tell you why, because there's a possibility Peyton Watson's not on the Nuggets next year.
No, there is. Boy, I'll tell you what, Cam Johnson's what felt like such a foregone, just trade Cam Johnson and sign Peyton Watson about a month and a half. This Nuggets season feels like it's had 3 chapters to it. You know what I mean?
It really, this team, they started the year and they were right. Like Vic had it on the sideline report yesterday that the group hadn't played together since November 12th?
Yeah.
I think was the date that he gave since they had a game where Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson and Christian Brown all were able to play. Like those guys were so banged up this season. Yeah, you're seeing it now is like this is what it looks like when it's all together. Is there enough time for them to find the right mix, the right secret sauce to be able to get there? Like, you can tell David Adelman has given this, he and his staff have given this a lot of hard thought and a lot of pondering about what it's finally going to look like when everybody is right and back. And I think that they think right now, down the stretch, they've found it. And whatever this group does is going to be health dependent and all of that. But like the pecking order is there. The roles are established. You've got what you've got in your starting 5, which is as good an offensive unit as there is in the entire NBA. And then you go to a bench unit that's going to play a little bit more small ball. But again, they're switchy defensively. And if they can force turnovers and get out on the run like they did last night, then you're not a net negative. And he mentioned them being -1 in the first half. Great. Be -1 all day. If the second unit is -1 the entire playoffs, cool. Nuggets can win a championship that way. We'll take that every single time. You don't got to win your minutes. Just don't get killed in your minutes. That's all we ask out of the non-Jokic minutes is just don't get murdered. So
yeah, don't give a lead back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm like, again, I'm hopeful. I'm still zen about it all because this season has just kind of sucked. This team has not been able to be who they were constructed to be. And maybe they'll get to be now. I don't know. They get a 3-4 coming up at Phoenix on Tuesday, home against Dallas on Wednesday, home against Utah on Friday, and then a night off Saturday before Golden State on Sunday. Going back to what I said in hour number 1, Andy, they're going to lose one of those games because they just will.
Yeah, it's kind of what the year has been, as you said. But again, you know what? I mean, it's, I was telling Spring, it's crazy because I was looking at the Avs and the Nuggets schedule down the stretch. I did not realize the Avs basically play almost a week, 5 more days longer than the Nuggets do. I'm not used to that. Usually it's the Stanley Cup playoffs starting first. But you know what? To your point, get this Phoenix trip out of the way and just try to handle, man, if they could just handle their business at home against these 3. I know Dallas and Utah is not important as far as standings go, but don't play with your food those 2 nights. You know what I mean? I don't know. And then you got Utah again coming up. So they get that other thing where they get Utah again on the Wednesday, but then a little more big boy to close it out. San Antonio, Portland, Memphis thrown in, but Oklahoma City, San Antonio. So
those could both be, you're playing all their reserves. That chances are that's what that's going to be. By the way, one play I want to touch on from yesterday's game, and it won't go down as anything significant in the box score because Bruce Brown was fouled from behind. But the Jokic full court pass, one-handed rebound, full court bomb to Bruce Brown last night, and he got fouled from behind. God, who fouled him? It might have been, I don't know, Wesley or Thibault or whoever fouled him from behind on that play. Again, we won't remember it because there was no bucket and Bruce Brown just had to go shoot free throws. It was one of the greatest passes I've ever seen in my life. Did Andy, the play I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Spring, you were at the game last night. You watched it from up in the 300 level. It's the pinpoint accuracy with which Jokic put that thing on before Bruce got fouled from behind because he was going for the dunk. It was so perfect, and the guy did it without ever touching the basketball with his second hand. Just it's put it on my list of never take Nikola Jokic for granted because we'll never see anything like this again in our lives.
Was that off a free throw, too? I just remember he grabbed it with the one hand, like you said, did the old water polo thing, spun around to your point, and I'm not even sure he might have set his feet, but it felt like he spun around. His feet weren't on the ground too long before that thing was down the floor.
Boom.
You know, it's funny, we had a pass like that in the Mammoth game Saturday night, too. Both passes, and they were to that same end of the building.
Ooh.
Where I was just like, how did you get it in there? Where halfway through, you're like, I'm not sure you're going to totally complete that. Because Portland was trying to be ready, right? Portland had their guy on the run trying to stop that exact play. I don't know.
It's in the scouting report. Don't give up that pass to Jokic. Every team tries their best not to, and he just like he knows it. I think you're right. I think it could have been off a missed free throw because he just like he instantly knew the moment his hand was on the ball what he was going to do with it.
Yeah, my guy's down there. I'm just going to turn around and whip it down. Would it be fun to watch him play a little flag football? I'm not sure he'd want to play for the U.S. I just want to see what the guy could do throwing a football for just something stupid like that.
Oh, I mean, I think he's the most accurate passer in Denver since Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
And I think basically they're 1-2 all time.
But what would that throw look like? I bet he might just stand, like a basketball player and just throw darts to people.
Oh, he'd be unbelievable. He put Nikola Jokic quarterback. He'd be absolutely unbelievable. Tell you what, I promise you, he could see guys over the middle. He would have no Russell Wilson.
He wouldn't have a Russ problem. Is it wild to you, since you brought him up, and there's no need to talk about it too long, wild that there's no Russ rumor this year at all? Or not just about the most predictable thing ever? He's got to go to TV, right? I have not seen one tweet linked to a Russell Wilson destination, despite some teams needing still maybe more veteran voice in there.
I think he'll sign with somebody in camp. It'll be someone.
Willie?
Someone will have an injury and he'll go somewhere. He can. I tell you what he can do, Andy. He can, and this is always going to work with coaches in the NFL. He can learn an offense and he can execute a play.
Dude.
He's going to get sacked too because he's going to hold on to the ball and take a sack, but he will give you a professional quarterback's effort, which that will get you a paycheck for a long, long time.
I don't know. Here's why I will tell you why I push back a little against that thought.
Okay.
Most of the guys, like a Kirk Cousins, the guy's called off the couch, like Phillip Rivers had his coach.
Yeah.
That needed him. He and Steichen worked together before. Remember that?
Oh, Russ doesn't have a coach?
I don't think Russ has a guy anymore.
No, I think everyone that's a good point. I think everyone
he has a dude that's like, all right, he can at least run my offense. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Kirk Cousins going back to Minnesota. You know what I mean?
Right.
That people think may happen, although now they got Kyler Murray, probably not. But Kirk Cousins, if you're a West Coast team, Kirk Cousins will come run what you just laid out, Kirk Cousins will go do.
Yeah.
I don't think Russ has a system or a coach for that. So ain't Sean, we know that.
No.
Tomlin's not coaching. I think Tomlin did like him, but Tomlin's not coaching. Although I say that, Tomlin had Rodgers the next year.
But that's just it, Andy. I do and Sean Payton, I think, is a little bit of a unique case. I do think the coaches like Russell Wilson. I think that
they like the thought of Russell Wilson. I don't think they like Russ once he's in there.
They like the idea of Russell
Mike
Wilson.
Tomlin liked the thought of Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I think Mike Tomlin loved Russ actually playing.
Brian Dable liked the idea
the
of
thought
Russell
was
Wilson.
good.
Right. Yes. Well put. Yes. We don't need to belabor this point any further. Wait, didn't we have who's more painful, Stiddy or Russ debate like 2 weeks ago?
We might have, yeah. Yeah. It was somebody and Russ at the podium just chatting.
It's the Kreckman and Lindahl show. Yes, he was just naming names. But it is the Kreckman and Lindahl show here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Quick break. When we come back, I want to circle back on something we were talking about with Jeff Legwald regarding the Broncos in the trenches. And whether or not these units can hold up for another 17 games. That's coming up on the other side. Got a big doubleheader coming up tomorrow night right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. The Avalanche are in Pittsburgh. That's an early start time, by the way. 5 o'clock is game time, so 4:30 pregame right here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. So we will get kicked out early. I think that's our last early show of the year. The East Coast swings are mostly behind us. So, yeah, Tuesday at Pittsburgh, and then the Nuggets will be at Phoenix tomorrow night. That one is a regular late game, and we'll join it in progress here on Altitude Sports Radio 92.5. Andy, we were talking to Leggy about this earlier. So, John Franklin Myers is gone. Ioma Wazarike will have a bigger role along the defensive line. Zach Allen, DJ Jones, these guys aren't getting any younger. Malcolm Roach is a player that has been in the league, but I do get a little bit concerned with Zach Allen, especially a guy that just seems like he's held together by Scotch tape. He's a football Frankenstein out there. And then over on the offensive line, McGlinchey and Bowles, that's one of the older tackle tandems in the entire NFL, and Ben Powers is no spring chicken. He already dealt with injuries this past year. Andy, with the Broncos, they generally have had pretty good health on their offensive and defensive lines over the last couple of years. It does feel like, number one, you're sort of defying the odds, and number two, those groups aren't getting any younger. How big a concern should that be for this team that there isn't a ton of young talent at any of those positions when you talk about interior defensive line and especially the tackle positions on the offense?
I'm not concerned yet. I'm going to the roster. Who don't they have the LSU kid that played inside? Don't forget about him. They've got Savion Jones, I think, looked like he had a few moments. Now, again, you got to coach it out of him, right, Nate? It's going to be up to them to coach some of this out of him. Q Robinson is a linebacker that also some of that young depth that I think you tend to like as well. But, yeah, look, you got to keep adding to it. What I give the Broncos credit for is some of these guys that they have picked up. And Malcolm Roach. Nobody batted an eye when Malcolm Roach came to play here, right?
Good player.
DJ Jones was a really good signing. Some people kind of mentioned it, but wasn't some ballyhooed signing of the first week of free agency. What I like about this, here's what the Broncos have going that I hope they can get to with their offense when it comes to the skill positions. When it comes to defense, Vance Joseph knows what he wants to do. He knows what his guy looks like. He knows what his type of player looks like. And they seem to do a good job of keeping those guys around that would help him get done what he wants to get done.
Except for John Franklin Myers.
Well, except for John Franklin Myers. But listen, we all know, I don't know what it was. Again, the old Elaine Bennis line about a bad breaker-upper. I don't know what he did. I don't know if he had too many jokes for something in the lunchroom or what, but they didn't want to sign him. He begged them to sign him. Yeah. He was not looking to leave. They just, whatever reason, did not have interest, decided to sign the other guys, and off they went.
Can't sign everybody. Salary cap.
You can't. Listen, I'm not arguing what you said, though. He's a really good player.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised you didn't want to keep a really good player around. Now, I don't remember. He got a pretty good deal wherever he went, right? So,
Tennessee, like he cashed in on Tennessee's desperation.
Sure. Yeah, they had money, and he was happy to take it. We'll see if he's happy with that move when the game's played. But he played for the Jets, so it can't be as miserable as the Jets, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't think. But
this was his chance to make life-changing money, and he had to go down.
And good for him.
Yeah.
But I'm not terribly worried about it. They seem to find a way. Not right now. Now, Nate, who knows? To your point, if all of a sudden Zach Allen's missing 5 or 6 games at a time, or he's the next guy that you can't seem to keep on the field, we'll revisit this conversation and I'll change my take. But the guy has been incredibly durable. And who knows? For all we know, the second round, you joked about it. The second round pick, their first pick, which is a second round pick, that could be a defensive lineman.
Could be.
They can't have any position circled at that point by the time they get there.
No.
So
62? I think is that pick 62?
Yeah,
you're just taking the football player you like the best.
You and I have done those draft shows. You got zero idea what's going to be sitting there. Right. It could be some surprise guy from the first round that you don't know why he's dropping, but is, or everybody you like could be gone. Who knows?
Yeah.
So
we can fall in love with Eli Stowers and Max Clare at tight end all we want. Like they could go completely in another direction, which, quite frankly, last year, did anybody see him going Jahdae Barron? I didn't.
Oh, I didn't either. But again, that was one of those guys. It'd be real curious. I'd love to know, what would you have done if Jahdae Barron had not fallen like some expected?
Right.
You know what I mean? Then what was the pick? Were you going to trade out? Were you going to grab Travion Henderson, were you going to go get one of those receivers,
Emeka Egbigboo.
Sure, Emeka Egbigboo. Wait, who's our guy? What, Gronk? Imeniquius. Oh, don't be coming at me with that. I still don't know what name. What was I trying to say?
Equanimous.
Yeah, I was moving consonants around all over the place.
Hey, speaking of fun names, Andy, Georgian NBA tough guy, Goga Bitadze, he got into a bit of a kerfuffle over the weekend with Luka Doncic. In fact,
yes.
The players received a double technical. The NBA has since rescinded the technical. So Luka Doncic is available to play tonight. I believe the Lakers are playing Detroit, and Luka can go.
Right, and for those who don't know, because he got it in the Denver game, he got, that 15th technical?
Yeah.
Where when the 16th show up, which is what that was, he automatically gets the next game suspension?
Yeah, it triggers the one-game suspension. The NBA has rescinded it. But there was a heated discussion at the free throw line between Slovenian Luka Doncic and Georgian Goga Bitadze.
Again, the European Georgian.
Yes,
not
European
Georgia, SEC Georgia. That's not happening.
Yeah, he's not from Macon, okay?
Yeah.
So what was said, and in what language was it said? Here is Luka Doncic after the game asking or answering a question as to what happened to lead to the double technical.
I let my team down, getting that last stack. But honestly, I wasn't trying to. He said a free throw. He will my whole family, and at some point, it's his basketball court. At some point, I just can't stand. I got to stand up for myself. But I know I got to do better. My teammates, I know they have my back, so I let them down today. But I hopefully it get rescinded.
The rest in here, what language did you say?
It was in Serbian.
Okay.
Didn't they pick it up too through one of the court mics where he was telling the ref what he was saying to him at the time?
So I mean, that's one of the things that's tricky about this. The refs don't know what they said because they were again trash talking each other in Serbian. Now, here's something else that's important to note. Serbian is not the native language of either of these two guys, okay? Like, Luka can speak Serbian because he's from the former Yugoslavia in Slovenia, and it's one of the languages that he knows. Goga is Georgian, but apparently he played professionally in Serbia for a while. And also, what I've learned is apparently, Andy, Serbian is it's sort of like the fallback second language for everybody from that part of the world. It's apparently super useful to be able to speak Serbian because most dudes that are from there, they speak whatever their native language is and Serbia. And I guess Goga Bitadze, he speaks numerous different languages. He also apparently learned English from watching Lord of the Rings and Transformers, is one of the things I learned about Goga Bitadze. But they were arguing in Serbian. The refs don't actually know what they said. They just know it sounded bad. J.J. Redick was asked about it after the game, and he said that there was the referees understood there to be a reference to Luka's mom.
Yeah.
In there somewhere. Now, Goga, for to his credit, said, I was only responding to something that Luka said to me. I would never have taken it there because I'm respectful of family. That's what he claimed afterwards. But I guess the overarching question is, if the referees can't understand what is said,
should it be a technical?
I don't believe it should be.
I would agree.
Yes.
Because most of us aren't going to understand it either. Again, I don't, but are you worried about it getting caught up by the as I understood it, I believe Luka came in with something about his divorced wife or something, which is what led to this getting ugly. So.
Which I believe Luka is also going through a divorce right now. Yeah. Or there's some kind of custody battle going on.
Someone's wife got brought up, and then away we go. So who knows? Who knows? Yes. But to your point, if you don't know if you don't know,
said.
Hey, I don't like your tone.
Yeah. Is that it?
Tech,
I don't.
Your tone sucks.
I don't think tone is reason enough.
Yeah.
Mick Cronin, by the way. Mick Cronin last night got teed up for clapping. That's what he got teed up for. Yeah. How about that for a matchup of red asses, by the way? Dan Hurley against Mick Cronin last night.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just two angry bald men.
Celebrity
going
Death
back.
Match still existed. That would be a great one.
That'd be a good
Couple
one.
claymation versions of those two going after it.
Dude, when they make the life story of Mick Cronin starring Paul Giamatti, I am lining up to watch that movie. It's going to be so good.
Is he going to have to lose a little weight, though, right? Paul Giamatti? He's one of those guys that
He's
been all over the spectrum.
He can go either way.
Yeah.
He's a good character actor.
Oh, he's really good.
Yeah, one of the best of his time. There's
Yeah.
no doubt. Yeah, I think he could nail a Mick Cronin performance. I'm quite confident of that. So anyway, that should, I believe that should be a rule. No technical unless you understand the trash talk. Yeah, just Adam Silver, send a quick memo, okay? And apparently the NBA did because they rescinded the technical, and Luka can play tonight. We've got the 5 biggest stories of the day from around the NFL. That is coming up next.
Guys, Andy Lindahl here for your friends over at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. Boy, we were talking about that Gabe situation. If you want to get further deep into what could have happened to Gabe, you can go talk to your guys over at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. I'm sure that they can give you some insights into that. But matter of fact, if you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, that's the better conversation. That's one that's going to affect you. And if you've been avoiding date nights, just had the weekend, if Friday or Saturday didn't get much going for you because you're embarrassed about the situation, or maybe it's causing you to withdraw from any sort of seeking of a relationship or withdraw from a relationship you're in right now, it's time to go talk to the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic and talk about your performance. They can help you. They have treatments that work when pills and herbals fail, and treatments with success rates well over 90%. Some that will even have you lasting an hour or more if you so desire that. Go on over to the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, where they've served the Front Range of Colorado for nearly a decade and have successfully treated tens of thousands of men. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to put an end to that situation. Schedule your consult today. First visit, $99. You'll go in and you'll talk to a Colorado licensed medical provider, have a T and a PSA test, and if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if the test dose isn't working in the office, the visit is free. And if you're like a lot of men, you'd be back to being your old self the day after your appointment. How about that? They have 5 locations in Colorado to serve you. They're basically all up and down 25 in Fort Collins and the Springs. Revamped location there in Castle Rock, and I go to the one in Central Denver. So go and talk to them today, 720-440-7900, or visit them at RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
All right, let's dive into it. Time for the 5 biggest stories of the day from around the NFL. We call it the High Five. Mark Springer, let's go.
Hey, we got an NBA nugget of information, perhaps pertaining to the Denver Nuggets in a way. Shams Charania tweeting out a couple minutes ago, the NBA has informed teams that the league is projecting a $165 million salary cap for next season, $1 million lower than previous outlooks due to a reduction in local media revenue.
Nice going, local media.
Well, and you know what? As it goes on to say, too, the tax level will be 201, first apron 209, second apron $222 million. So $1 million may not sound like a lot, right, Nate? But as you try to get Peyton Watson possibly back into the fold, this is something that could be affecting the Nuggets.
Oh, Andy, there is absolutely no question. Like if Peyton Watson is to remain a Nugget, somebody is out. Is what it's going to have to mean. And a Cam Johnson, I think, is because of role, redundancy, etc., is the most likely trade target, trade option if you want to keep Peyton Watson. It's also a possibility, Andy, that Cam Johnson, who has been very good of late, and especially with the return of Aaron Gordon, that you just opt into, well, we love Cam Johnson, and oh, well, too bad. Peyton Watson turned out to be too good, and we just simply couldn't afford to keep him around, and somebody could have thrown a bunch of money his way as an RFA and tendered him at a price point that the Nuggets just simply couldn't match. Because the Nuggets, like, first off, I don't even think the aprons are an option, but like the Nuggets, and they did the machinations this year, they don't even want to be over the tax. They don't want to deal with the repeater tax and all of that. So there's, again, like, I am very mentally prepared for Peyton Watson to not be a Nugget beyond this year, and that's going to suck. But it's a very real possibility.
Who gets the brunt of the fan angst if that happens, Cam Johnson or Christian Brown? Because that is the person you did re-sign in the same summer that you could have signed Watson. Which, again, I will still state, I don't like it when we all try to act like, again, the hindsight right now is 2020. At the time of the Christian Brown signing, I liked what you did there because Peyton Watson had not shown us this version of who he was.
Right, yeah, there's been a big step forward out of Watson, and some of it was simply like the opportunity presented itself when Jokic went down with injury. When Jokic and Aaron Gordon were both out, somebody was going to have to carry this team. It turned out that it was Peyton Watson, and he absolutely he was able to rise to the occasion, okay? Had those injuries not happened, I'm not even sure we would have seen this version of Peyton Watson so far this year. But the opportunity presented itself, and he was able to do it. Now look, I'll step back for a minute, and I will say this, all right? I didn't think they were going to trade Michael Porter.
Yeah.
I didn't think the Nuggets would be able to pull that off. I thought there was nobody in the NBA that would want that contract. As it turns out, the Tank and Brooklyn Nets were just desperate enough to be able to make that move, and you got back a very good and useful player in Cam. So maybe Tenzer and Wallace can pull it off. I didn't think they could last year, and they did. Maybe they figure out something to be able to keep Peyton Watson in the fold. Again, if you're just asking me right now, which player are you taking, Peyton Watson or Cam Johnson in the long term, the youth of Peyton Watson, and maybe it's just the familiarity, but the youth of Peyton Watson is really enticing, man.
Going to be an interesting offseason. You know what? And whether they determine to go back in the tax or whatever could also be determined by how this, if it's a healthy squad, what it does together in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Is it worth paying for that? We'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, there's quite frankly, Andy, I don't know if there would be, whether it was $1 million reduction or even the cap going up, I don't think there was ever going to be enough of a ballooning of cap dollars to make that problem go away for the Nuggets. It's something they're going to have to figure out. Go ahead, Spring.
High five.
Yeah, football news.
Hey, if you're wondering what's for dinner tonight, try Papa Murphy's Pizza. They make delicious pizza, and you bake it when you're ready. Order online at papamurphys.com. The Broncos have finally signed an outside free agent in the form of safety Tyson Anderson. That is Tyson with a C. And hey, Nate, I want to play this audio for you. Marvin Mims was at the Nuggets game yesterday.
He sure was.
And Vic Lombardi asked him a handful of questions, including what did you think about the Jalen Waddle trade?
How did you react when you saw that trade?
Yeah, for sure. I think it really surprised me, just bringing in a guy like that. But, if you look at his career ever since high school to college to now, he's just an explosive playmaker. And I think offensively, we always need more playmakers. I think it'll be a really fun to watch. So we'll just see how it all comes out this season.
Do you ask yourself, what does that mean for me, since you guys are essentially the same type of player?
Yeah, a little bit. It's just interesting to see how I'll fit in the offense. But at the end of the day, just for me, the past 2 years, the thing I've taken pride in is being able to play running back, be a returner, be a receiver. So any way I can affect the game, I'm happy to go out there and do it.
Good on him. Good honest answers from Mims.
Yeah, number one, good answers and honest answers by Mims. Number two, Vic Lombardi, friggin' pro, perfect follow-up question. Well done by Vic. He asked the question that was on everybody's mind, and well done in that moment. Not afraid to ask Marvin Mims an uncomfortable question. Good answer by Marvin Mims. The truth is, Andy, I don't know what it means for Marvin Mims. What I largely think it means is he's here in Denver. He continues being a return man at an all-pro level, and then when his time in Denver concludes, I think what he's going to look for is a team that is willing to invest in his receiving skills along with his return skills.
Yeah. I think that I know Adam Schefter told the guys last week after the trade that he felt like the Broncos want to use all these guys in the offense. They want both Mims and Waddle. But I'll tell you what, if you need to move up in the second round or you get someone really tasty at the end of the first round and you need a player to throw in the deal to make it happen, a guy that's got a couple Pro Bowls on his resume may get dangled out there. So we'll see.
I ask you this, okay? Here's the topic. Here's the sports radio-y topic, okay? Who would you be more willing to move in that moment, Marvin Mims or Riley Moss?
Oh, that's a great question, Nate. Who brings you more value if you're going to be – look, if I'm trying to get into the first round, it's probably Riley Moss. Let's be honest about it. He's got the more extensive resume tape to work off of,
right,
quite honestly.
Yeah, no, well said.
And I know everybody will get fired up about that, but remember, guys, I am convinced Jahdae Barron was drafted because they knew they would not be able to afford Riley Moss sooner or later because he's going to be due about the time the Bo contract is.
Yeah, and if you're a starting corner and you have Riley Moss's workload and everything else like that, complain about his PIs all you want. That dude is going to get paid on the free agent market.
Yeah, and look, we already got a text coming in saying, hey, man, you got to keep Mims. I'm not disagreeing with that, but you've got this allergy to playing him. So if you're not going to play him and certainly not going to pay him, and that's the same thing with Moss, then you got to move him. You got to move him.
He's such a weapon on special teams.
I agree he is, but I think he's a weapon on offense. You don't really use him.
That's a good point.
I mean, that's the only thing about it. I like the Jalen Waddle trade, but you have a poor man's version of it right now. You didn't have to give up your first-round pick for, frankly.
Well, think about it from Mims' perspective, too, because if in the Broncos' perfect world, quite frankly, I don't even think Marvin Mims plays that much offensively. Okay,
not with Waddle in the fold,
and they just use him as a punt returner. Like your three receiver sets are largely, I think, going to be Sutton, Waddle, and Pat Bryant, with some Troy Franklin, with some little Jordan mixed in there as well. Like Marvin Mims almost kind of gets lost in the fold a little bit with just having too many options offensively that you're still kind of trying to figure out. Okay, if all of that is true and Marvin Mims is just your return man, that's great for the Broncos. It's not great for Marvin Mims. That depresses his value on the free agent market.
No, I'm with you. Look, Marvin, I think Marvin had a very professional response about those things, but he didn't tell you. He's like, yeah, he was professional about saying it'll be exciting to watch him and all that other stuff. He didn't tell you that he loved it.
Yeah,
and
it was a great answer. And good job by Vic. Go ahead, Spring.
High five. Guess I'll throw in one other NBA note here. Peyton Watson is out tomorrow night.
Yeah, good call. I think you got to be careful with it. You saw what he added in. He's got to get his conditioning right. There's no need to push it too hard. So there you go.
All right, so I'm assuming then he would go second night of a back-to-back at home against Dallas. You don't even take him to Phoenix. He just stays home, gets ready for the Dallas game, and then maybe he can go Friday, Sunday. I thought one thing that was interesting, by the way, last night regarding Peyton Watson was that Adelman put him back. It was the last play of the first half, and Adelman put him out there for a defensive possession, and I thought, that's a weird move to take a guy that had been, coming off that injury, cold on the bench for the last few minutes. Hey, go run around for one possession, and then we'll go directly to halftime. I thought that was a strange move.
Yeah, he just must not have trusted his D. He wanted to make sure they didn't get any more little bit of remember, they were trying to get a little more juice before half. So
Spring.
High five.
Travis Kelce has officially signed a new deal with the Chiefs. It is technically a 3-year deal worth up to $57.7 million.
It is literally a 1-year deal in my mind because the back half, the last 2 years of the deal, $40 million of it kick in after June 1st. They've got a real delayed date to pick up the option. This to me screams 1-year deal, $15 million total value.
It's doing right by your superstar.
Sure.
It's telling him like, hey, we'll if you want to keep doing this thing, we'll keep doing this thing with you, but we'll all sit down and talk about it at the end of the year. It's hard to look. He's not playing 3 more years in the NFL. He just isn't. Okay.
Well, on top of it, Nate, he gets the whole by putting that clause, the trigger clause after June 1st, he gets all offseason and draft to do this little dance. It's not some beginning of the NFL year thing.
Yeah, no, he can. Then he can do a will he, won't he tour, and people will subscribe to his podcast, I guess. Go ahead, Spring.
High five.
Hey, new Steelers wide receiver Michael Pittman went on Up and Adams with Kay Adams. Will Aaron Rodgers be his quarterback this season? Here is Michael Pittman.
Obviously, the whole quarterback thing is going on, and she's like, I don't know nothing.
Michael.
I haven't talked to Aaron.
What a way to put it. What a way to put it. Hold on. The whole quarterback thing going on. What do you mean you haven't talked to Aaron? What do you mean?
So I'm trying to give him space, because Aaron's a guy, like, he likes his space. Like, he likes to get, like, refreshed. Like, I didn't want to just get signed and then blow him up and be like, hey, Aaron, like what's the deal? But, just give him time, him and his wife, like, they got to handle some things, and then like he will decide if he wants to come back or not. But
yeah, he doesn't even know him, by the way. I would also say give him some space.
Does
Dude,
he
I
have
don't
his
even
number?
know the guy.
Right.
People that know the guy can't get him to call him back. So
Yeah, exactly. But also, like, if you can get your hands on his number, like, text him. Who cares? Hey, I'm your new teammate. If you're playing football next year,
little you up.
You up for,
yeah,
I don't know, getting your brains beat in the AFC North a little bit more? Yeah. I would text him. What's wrong with that? Why is Michael Pittman being so polite?
Because he didn't know the guy and he doesn't. He probably, listen, does he
New
care
coworker.
that much? How about I just put it out there? Go watch the highlights from last year. You sure he cares that much? Aaron Rodgers didn't look like a good time to be a receiver for, quite honestly. Because if you don't run the exact route the way it was run when he was with the Packers, he gets all up in your chili. So
no, I think he does it even more now because he can't move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he needs it to be right where it was. So I think Pittman's like, I was taking this money no matter what, so whatever at quarterback.
Or here's the other thing. Is this Pittman trying to play cover for either I texted him or I called him and I didn't hear back from him?
Yeah. Or Rodgers gave him the old, I'll talk to you when I'm ready.
Yeah.
I don't know you, guy.
He got an out-of-office reply
right.
is what he got from him.
Or that wasn't even really the number anymore.
Go ahead, Spring.
High five.
And finally, apparently this weekend was the inaugural Fanatics Flag Football Classic.
Totally.
Tom Brady played in this thing. He was on a team. Apparently he threw a pass to Gronk, and Gronk pulled his hamstring and had to leave the game. Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels, a few other, Saquon Barkley, NFL players played. But the dominating winner was Team USA, led by MVP Darrell Hoosh Doucette.
Yeah, Hoosh kicked ass in this thing. So first off, Andy, Team USA won all 3 games against the pros by a combined 106-44 score. All right? The Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels team was coached by Kyle Shanahan. The Founders, coached by Sean Payton, captained by Tom Brady. They lost both round-robin games against Team USA. Apparently, Andy Hoosh, 8 of 8 for 67 yards and 3 tutties. Ran the ball 6 times for 76 yards and 3 touchdowns. Made 5 receptions for 79 yards to earn tournament MVP honors. Jadion High had 1 touchdown catch in each game, scoring 4 to lead the tournament. It turns out the guys that play flag football all the time are way better at flag football than guys that play professional NFL football, which is a vastly different sport.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So I used to, in my early college years and was still in shape, I used to play in both these contact leagues that we've talked about.
Yeah.
And then there'd be 5-on-5 leagues where you couldn't touch anybody.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about a difference. Like, I quit playing the 5-on-5 because it is just all the small, speedy guys.
Yeah.
Good luck with that, right? So if you're an NFL player who's used to, oh, you're faster than me, I'm just going to stab you in the chest, and
Right.
that ain't gonna how this is going to work. But here's the problem, Nate. Here's where it's going to be a fascinating story to watch. It's you pointed it out. It's frankly like one of the reasons why Lindsey Vonn tried what she tried. The TV ratings, I don't think, are going to be the same if it's not Joe Burrow and
Right.
Jalen Hurts and Tom Brady and guys that you know. Hats off to the flag guys. You were the top of your craft. But I don't think anybody wants to tune in. They want to see their NFL dudes in the Olympics.
I mean, they do, but I mean, first off, the
They
Olympics
may
are gonna
not want to get going, but
yeah, the Olympics are going to be fine regardless. But
NBC wants some NFL dudes playing.
it's why
in these
Jalen Hurts
games.
is on the commercials.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
It's why he's already out there. As much as they can pressure whatever the U.S. Flag Football Committee. Here's the thing: I think they're going to want. I think they want Tom Brady on the team.
Well, there you go.
I think that's a big thing is they want to push Brady for this. The problem is that these flag football dudes are too friggin' good at it. Again, they destroyed these guys. And Andy, let's be serious. Do I think USA would win the gold anyway? Yeah, probably. But, are these guys going to take it seriously enough to learn all the nuances of 5-on-5 non-contact flag football? No, they're NFL players. They're gajillionaires. They don't need to put in that work. It's not like when you take the hockey players or the basketball players and say, hey, just go play your sport, and then they kick everybody's ass at it. It's a different game.
Dude, I'm telling you, one year we won Metro State. We won our flag football league. So they sent us out to Arizona State to play in this national tournament, right?
Yeah.
And the first 2 games, we won. Then we got against this team that basically were rugby players, and all they did was just pitch the ball as if it were a rugby. Dude, we didn't know what defense to play against them. We didn't, you know what I mean?
No adjustments.
They just worked us. And again, flag football's got a bunch of these, it's styles make fights, and some of these teams all have different styles, and you can't prepare for all of it,
Nope.
You go get some New Zealand or Australia team that's doing more like a rugby style. Good luck.
No, man, everybody killed Hoosh, for saying that he would be better at it than Mahomes. He made his case yesterday. He made his case. Hoosh is the man. Hoosh needs to captain Team USA, Andy. Justice for Hoosh, American hero. It's the Kreckman and Lindahl Show.
This is left by Faravari. Turnover, Washington. Marty Necas, far side circle with the puck around the outside, around the world. Marty Necas all the way through. One-timer fanned on Kadri. Brock Nelson has it back. Necas will curl at the point. Necas down deep. Necas all the way through, looking for a pass in front for Taves. Not available. Necas still with the puck. Cuts to the dot. Throws it back door. Brock Nelson shoots and scores. It's Brock o'clock. His 6th game-winning goal of the season, and the Avalanche win in overtime.
Backdoor tap in right there, 32nd of the year for Brock o'clock, Andy. Brock Nelson, game winner last night in OT. Not the Avs' best game of the year to knock off the Caps. In fact, they needed a stupid turnover by Caps goalie Logan Thompson in order to be able to tie that thing up. But they did. Nick Waugh scored last night. Nice assist by Bardakov as Caps couldn't clear, and he was able to keep it in. I mean, Andy, really, you got an Avalanche win, so you got 2 points, plus you got to see Alex Ovechkin score his 1,000th NHL goal, 923rd of the regular season, but 1,000th if you combine the regular season and the playoffs. 20 saves by Mackenzie Blackwood. Nice Avalanche victory. 9th game-winning goal this year, by the way, for American hero Brock Nelson.
Yeah, and you got the stupid 10:30 start thing out of the way again because that thing was an early Denver time start, and the Avs are showing us they do not love early time hockey. Spring was telling me in the break he likes it because he's able to get a little work and go about his day. But I'll tell you, the Avs I don't think they're always up so well for that. I don't know what would be the. It's funny because I guess football's played that early. No, not quite 10:30, but around there. Half hour later sometimes local
11
time.
a.m. kickoff, Mountain Time, yes.
But those hockey guys, I know Mark Rycroft talks about it. Lyles has mentioned it on the old Altitude broadcast. They don't necessarily love it when you got that early start time when you're from this half of the country.
Oh, I think it's tricky. There's no doubt. You talked about it before in the marathon sports when you got to be able to start that early. When it's the only thing you're doing all week and it's all you're preparing for all week, I just don't think it's as big of a deal. I really don't. We always make a big deal out of, the Broncos, they suck on early East Coast games. It's also just like road games are hard to win in the NFL no matter what time you play them, okay? That's also the reality of that very sport. When when your body clock is so used to a night game, then it's like get up and play early. Yeah, it sucks. The Nuggets dealt with that. Wasn't it the Laker game that they had to play early in the day? I mean, just on a Sunday a couple of weeks ago, just like scheduled loss.
You're right. That was a weird one because, again, and then they went to the Knicks game. Some West Coast team was visiting the Knicks, and I was like, why isn't this the 1 o'clock? Right. And the Nuggets were or the noon or
slam
whatever.
It in there early, and so, I do think those games are tough. By the way, saw this tweet earlier from Dan Patrick, producer Paul Pabst. And he said, debating the best time zone for sports fans. I said Mountain by far, lots of blowback on that. Seems obvious. I completely agree with him. I believe Mountain is the best sports viewing time zone, and I don't think it's particularly close. Now, there are elements of the Pacific time zone that I'm jealous of. I'm very jealous that college football Saturday starts at 9 a.m. for them. And that and that NFL starts at 10 a.m. because I think that's great. Just get up and get that thing going. But the trade-off in Pacific is that if the Lakers or the Dodgers or the Giants or whoever is playing out on the East Coast, that's a 4 o'clock local time start. That's stupid. Even tomorrow night, the Avalanche played 5 o'clock, right? You as an Avalanche fan, you may miss the first period or whatever, but by the time you get home and get your night started, you're still going to see the second and third period. In terms of the world where we have early East Coast games and then late West Coast games, Mountain is the best time zone for being able to watch all of those games.
Yeah, although you and I kind of sound like old men talking about this, I don't necessarily disagree with you. Now, I would also put up there a fun time zone if you like having your nights free is Hawaii. Which because they get going first thing and a lot of stuff's wrapped up. You still got a little of the evening left by the time the sports day is over in the States.
Yeah, but an NFL Sunday starts at 7 a.m. for you.
Again, if you like to go surfing, which a lot of those people do, listen, If I were in Hawaii, I don't know how much sports I'd be watching, period, because I think I'd just be enjoying the weather and the land. You know
Nothing
what I mean?
but luau's
Yeah,
for
I don't
you.
think I'd be living the stateside lifestyle if I lived in Hawaii, quite honestly. I might record some stuff. But that's where I was going with this. I don't disagree with you. In a world where you want to get home, get settled, and watch the game live, 7 p.m., that's the place to go. You get your dinner, you get the kids handle all that other stuff. But with the ability to DVR everything, or like I've been doing YouTube TV lately because of the cost, unfortunately, of DirecTV.
Yeah.
And everything I got, every team I put on there, they record. If I want to watch it and not have commercials, I can do that in this modern time. I don't, like, is anybody, I guess I'd ask you this, and Spring might be the best one to weigh in on this because he's the younger guy that I think he's the least traditional of you and I, all three of us. Do people, like, are you regulated even by the time zone anymore? How many people, you know how many friends I have? You know what the biggest pain in my rear end can be for a guy that's just addicted to the live stuff and does what we do? I've got buddies during NFL Sundays that want to come. They want me to record the Bronco. They want to wait till the first half's over, get over there, and they want to try to watch the game without watching a single commercial if they can time it out that way.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice. The problem is if you're doing that, you're making the choice to not engage on social media,
Exactly.
which I don't necessarily have a problem with.
You've never struggled with that, but
yeah. But no, like for example, like right now I am in the Central Time Zone. Last night, and granted, I was only casually watching it because the game was a friggin' blowout. But by the time Alabama and Texas Tech ended last night, it was like 11:30 here, and I looked at the clock and I was like, geez.
That sucks.
Yeah, my body is on local time, and so I watched basketball last night. Now, again, I was only sort of casually watching that game. I was watching a recording of the Nuggets Blazers game while that was all going on. But still, by the time it ended, I was like, oh, this is stupid. Like back home, I'm still in bed before 11 o'clock, and I would have stayed up and watched all the games. And again, you know me, I'm a huge West Coast sports guy. I love the fact that where we live, we get those games starting at 8 o'clock. Now, some of the college games that I watch will tip off at 9 o'clock locally. Those are a little bit of a pain in the ass. They're 8 o'clock locally in the Pacific time zone. But I love watching late West Coast baseball, all of that stuff, 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I'm up and I'm watching games, and I think it's great. I think Mountain is the best sports viewing time zone.
Well, Nate, it's funny we'd even get into this. I remember talking about this with Scotty. I was talking to Scotty on his way to the airport today.
Yeah.
Because, they're heading to Phoenix. And I didn't realize this. He pointed this out a couple of times to me. We just got in a random conversation about it. But he just goes, think about this. Game locally starts at 9 o'clock Denver time tomorrow. So, that screws the Nuggets for getting back and playing the Mavericks the next night. But if you're out east, and you want to know why people maybe haven't completely fallen in love with Nikola Jokic, that is an 11 o'clock start time. Whether you're recording it or not, if you're a Nuggets fan living in New York or wherever you're living, Delaware, I don't know, Rhode Island, that's an 11 o'clock before it even gets recording start time. That sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody thinks the East is any good for watching sports out there.
So, Andy, I was at the Mountain West tournament a couple of weeks ago, right? Friday, the Friday night of the tournament, okay? The two semifinals, all right? The first one tipped off at 6:30 Vegas time. The late game, San Diego State, New Mexico, which was a massive bubble game, meaning there was interest all over the country in that game. It was basically a playoff to stay on the bubble to get into the tournament because both those teams were in the first four out. That game tipped off at 9 o'clock Vegas time. When they showed the bracket on CBS Sports to tell you on Thursday night what time that game was going to tip off, it said midnight Eastern Friday, or basically Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday morning.
Was when that game was going to be played, midnight Eastern. And it's a niche audience, no doubt, but there's college hoops junkies all over the place. People that are staying up to watch those games. Midnight was when that game tipped off.
That's brutal, dude.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Anybody else? It's 2 hours of your life.
Yeah,
that's a 2 a.m. shutdown if you're out east.
Yeah, couldn't do it. No, you'd have to live a completely different existence. I couldn't do it. Yeah, tournament weekend, by the way, Andy, it was terrific. It was a great first weekend of the NCAA tournament. I watched basketball pretty much nonstop, and I'm here. I'm visiting my parents. I got my family, so like we're in and out doing all that stuff. But like everywhere we go, games are on. March Madness has been cool. It's been really good this year, and I made this point earlier in the show. We still there are still upsets. You still get them. There were 4 double-digit seeds in the round of 32. One way that I believe the NIL era, the Power 4 era of college basketball, one way that I believe it has changed things is we don't get Cinderellas in the Sweet 16 anymore. And while you may be like, well, that's a little bit of a letdown, sure. I mean, in some ways, like Iowa's a Cinderella, Texas is a Cinderella. It's just they're the Cinderella for this version of what college sports is, and the payoff is every game coming up Thursday and Friday in the Sweet 16, every game is awesome. Every game is a powerhouse. Every game is good coaches. Every game is good players. There's no crap, I think, left in this tournament. That's not to say there won't be, double-digit games or anything like that. There will be, but every team is good the rest of the way.
Yeah, but you and Leggy just kind of kicking it around towards the end. It's kind of interesting. Man, college sports in general is sort of becoming the SEC and the Big Ten.
It is. Yeah, it is.
All the other conferences are trying to catch up, but none of those conferences show that they have enough money the way those two conferences have spread throughout the conference to compete.
There's no doubt about that. And first off, the Big Ten and the SEC were always better than everybody.
Sure.
Okay? They always were. It's certainly more pronounced now. The Big Ten is having a hell of a tournament so far this year, but the Big 12 is there. The ACC is there. The Big East is there. Okay, yes, there are no mid-majors going forward, but just the truth of it is the quality of, especially the quality of talent and the dollars in the Big Ten are on another level. That's not to say they're going to win the national championship. They may not. Okay, Arizona could very easily. Andy, I still think Arizona is the best team in the country. Okay, and yeah, they got a little bit of a scare from Utah State last night, but they handled it because they're too deep and they're too friggin' good. The other thing that's funny is just joking about this. I'm watching the game with my dad and Abby's watching the game with us, and it's just like one of my favorite things about college basketball is pointing out the crimes that every coach has done. Oh yeah, no, don't worry, they got that guy on wiretap. Don't worry, it's.
Then you got Bruce Pearl's in the middle of. Oh
God, that guy's greasy face is on my television every single time that I look up. My God.
You know what's making me laugh? I told you I was just peeking at the scores as I was calling the Mammoth game Saturday night at Ball Arena because we got a TV basically in front of us that we usually have tuned to something else.
Yeah.
And I looked up, and at one point I'm like, Jamal Mashburn, he's getting more casual. Like he's just going to show up. He's going to show up in a Snuggie by the time this thing's all over the way he's going. His outfit is just getting more and more dialed down as every round goes along.
Dude. There's too much Bruce Pearl. It's just too much Bruce Pearl. Yeah. Another guy on FBI wiretaps. Anyway, I guess that's who's supposed to talk about college basketball. The most criminal of all of the sports. The Nuggets are resting Peyton Watson. I want to hit that next. Plus, Andy, we have sports radio evolution in real time. An old K&L bit is now a new K&L bit. It will be debuted next, and it has something to do with the Rockies pitching rotation. You'll want to hear this when we come back. We're talking Peyton Watson, and we're talking long relief. That's next. One NBA score to keep you updated on really quickly. Lakers and Pistons in action right now. Second quarter in Detroit. Lakers are up by 4. Obviously, Detroit playing without Cade Cunningham as he is banged up. He is not able to go. Luka already has 17 points, but go Pistons.
I retract my earlier take that Luka should have stayed suspended.
Yeah, exactly. Screw that guy.
I should have been cheering that decision on.
10 games to go, and the Nuggets are, I believe, 2.5 back technically on the Lakers, plus the tie break. The chances of them catching them are slim to very remote right now, but it's still sort of a possibility. Andy, we got the news. Peyton Watson, because of maintenance of the hamstring injury, Peyton Watson will not play tomorrow night in Phoenix after having played just about 20 minutes last night. He had 14.6 rebounds, 3 assists against Portland, but apparently he's going to get the night off on the first night of a back-to-back on the road, which I would assume would then set him up to play on Wednesday at home against Dallas.
Yeah, and look, it's a good thing. Guys will talk about the unseen effects of, flying, getting up in the air, sitting around on the flight, whatever. Remember, they did this basically with Aaron Gordon last week, if I'm not mistaken, left him home for that Memphis game, did not fly him all the way down to Memphis. So this way, Peyton gets to stay here after this trip to Phoenix and a game tomorrow night that starts at 9 o'clock, as we told you. All of a sudden, they've got 3 games at home the rest of the week. Peyton doesn't have to leave the area code, so I think probably a good move right there. Make sure, because again, you and I talked about it. If this team's healthy, I'm not going to worry too much about their seeding as long as they're healthy. You know what I mean?
It's the biggest thing.
Look, they're going to have a tall task against, in my opinion, San Antonio or OKC no matter what. But you probably don't even get to that round if you don't have proper health. So keep Peyton home. Keep him healthy. Everybody playing their role last night looked pretty darn good. So just get that back intact for the playoffs.
Quite literally tall tasks, Andy. Wembanyama and Holmgren, very tall individuals.
Dude, the whole Spurs lineup feels like it's tall. How many top picks have they? We all lock in on OKC for good reason. They're the champs. They look like a wagon right now. But don't forget about all the top picks the Spurs have assembled out there, too.
Well, plus they brought in De'Aaron Fox, who was just a perfect complement to what they're trying to do. They're leading the Heat, by the way, right now in the second quarter of that game as well. Keeping an eye on what's going on around the NBA tonight. But the Nuggets are at Phoenix tomorrow night. 10 games to go. Peyton Watson was optimistic when he talked after the game last night about his ability to be able to get immediately ramped up. He even pointed out, and I guess I had forgotten this, he's had a hamstring injury that he has come back from before. So he feels as though that familiarity with his body will get him back to the right place. Avalanche will be in action tomorrow night at Pittsburgh. The Rockies open on Friday in Miami, Andy.
It's like nobody even is talking about that, right?
Yeah, well, we're talking about it right now. So
nobody's talking about the fact nobody's talking about the Rockies.
Nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about it.
But unlike the Broncos in the preseason, nobody cares that nobody's talking about the Rockies in these parts. So
everybody talks about how nobody talks about. Yes, that was our bit last year with the Broncos.
That was the battle cry for the Broncos.
Yes, with the Rockies, nobody talks about how nobody talks about the Rockies. Okay, we're talking about the Rockies though right now. So you can't say that we're nobody. Darn it,
we're somebody, darn it.
We're somebody. Yeah. So, Andy, I saw this note, okay? The Rockies have settled on a starting rotation for the upcoming season. As you know, Kyle Freeland, don't call him Kevin, will open
Kevin Freeland
on Friday in Miami.
Who stuck up the joint for the Rockies?
After Freeland, it goes Team Italy hero Michael Lorenzen.
Off-season acquisition.
And by hero, I mean guy that blew their game against Venezuela.
Yeah.
Jose Quintana.
The guy who does a great job of letting the ball fly out of the park.
Yeah, lefty Jose Quintana. Tomoyuki Sugano, who was last of Baltimore.
Yep.
And Ryan Feltner. Remember that name, Ryan Feltner?
Okay.
He's had a surgery or two.
Yeah.
Are you pumped for this?
No.
So that's your starting
That's five guys and not the burger chain. I'm more excited for five guys, the burger chain, than what you just listed.
Oh, without question. So, Andy, I told you last week one of the key stories of this year is the development of what you hope is future frontline starter Chase Dolander.
Say it Jack Corrigan-like.
Chase Dolander.
Yeah, you got to really draw that O out.
Dolander.
Do-re-mi.
Followed by 78 seconds of silence. So.
Are we in break? What happened? I've had that happen. Was that a break? Is it an ID? Why is nobody talking?
It sure is a lot of ambient crowd noise on that broadcast. Chase Dolander.
Yeah.
So Chase Dolander, he's not in the rotation. He's former first-round pick, like most highly touted pitching prospect in the organization. Like last year, he struggled mightily at Coors Field, but he had a sub-4 ERA on the road. He looked like, at times, a real major leaguer, a real-life big leaguer, Andy. He's starting the year in long relief, along with Antonio Senzatella.
Okay, now, here's my thing.
What are we doing?
Yeah, and you know what? My what are we doing comes a little bit different angle than yours. I send him down to the minors and keep him as a starter. You got new management. You got hopefully a new pitching philosophy with new pitching coaches.
Yeah.
Let them all have a whack at him down in the lower, but keep him as a starter. What do you mean he's in long relief? What are you talking about?
So now he's in long relief, so his role is undefined. This guy needs to prepare every fifth day to pitch.
Yeah. You know what that tells me? They don't like, and you know, you're more savvy at baseball than I am, but what that tells me is they don't like what happens when teams the hitters get a second look at his stuff. That once you've seen it one time, apparently it's not good enough to get through, two. I don't know if anybody gets through 3 times through a lineup anymore, but that's what that tells me. So go down there, like we said, and fix it. You got new people running the organization. Come on, man. What are we doing?
Okay, so one of two things. Either he sucks.
Yeah.
Which is a possibility.
Which means he can't get through the lineup the first time.
Or did these guys think they're going to win something? Are they doing that dumb thing that
really
the Rockies do?
Do not waste a year of this kid's career making him a long reliever. What are you doing?
Also,
or you know what? It means they also know the other 5 guys you mentioned suck. And they're gonna get some quick outings.
Are you telling me this guy can't beat out 97-year-old Jose Quintana and Tomoyuki Sugano for a role in your rotation right now? What is happening?
Why would you even want them to? Because you know what? What did they had their little penalty for? They'll draft 10th this year because they've been so bad for so long. But now that's over, right? Now if you suck this year, you get a top pick back, don't you? There's no forcing you back to 10, right?
So
I don't understand what the thinking here is.
So we asked the question. Is he going to be more Eddie Butler or John Gray? Because he is basically the organization's most individually touted pitching prospect since those two names, the law firm of Butler and Gray. Well, for years we debated if John Gray was an ace. Well, now we're starting to get our answer, apparently, about Chase Dolander. So we're prepared to ask you here on the Kreckman and Lindahl Show, is Chase an ace?
Would you say he's emerged as an ace this season?
He's been the ace so far.
Well, look, he's very good, but to be an ace...
That's an ace pitch for him.
I think he's on his way to being an ace.
That Chase Dolander is one piece of ace.
No Ted Leitner in there. No.
Well, he's very good, but I don't know about an ace.
I don't.
I like how they all say things too. The different pronunciations of ace in that open is ace stuff on its own.
Ace stuff.
Yeah.
And he's a fine piece of ace.
Yeah. That was on in the background, by the way, where we did half our show. Billy Madison was. You know what's weird, too? The love interest in there, I can't remember her name. You know, all these 90s and 2000s stars on Instagram are doing this whole, Mom, what were you like in the 2000s? Dad, what were you like in the 90s? And whoever that star was, she popped up in my reels, showed all her acting roles, including Billy Madison, but apparently she's like some big wig hot-to-trot chef now. So I went and looked at her page, and it's nothing but great cooking recipes and wine pairings.
That's Pete Sampras' wife.
All right. Well, she's apparently a hell of a cook. So if the Samprases invite you over, go on by. From what I saw on Instagram, she knows her way around getting things made.
So So she looks like that, and she's
can cook
like a 5-star chef.
She
good.
Now look.
You.
These are little 1-minute reels on Instagram, but I was ready to pull up a chair and a knife and a fork.
So are you telling me that Pete Sampras?
Yeah, did all right.
One of the greatest tennis players to ever live, gajillionaire Pete Sampras. Everything just worked out for him.
She didn't show anything with Pete. I didn't know she was married to Pete. She just apparently is cooking.
Actually, here's the thing. I don't even know if they're still married. That I don't know. I know they were married.
Boy, I'll tell you what, because didn't Andy Roddick, wasn't he was dating the SI swimsuit model, right? Brooklyn Decker?
Yeah, yes, he was.
Looks like Mark Springer's got the right idea in his tennis lane.
Oh,
we met his lady friend Friday.
We sure did.
Whoa. I think we're all going to Goldfinger.
Hey, all right.
Well, me and Spring are. You left. Maybe we're just going.
Wait,
Spring.
when's the Goldfinger show?
2 weeks from a week from this Saturday, the 11th.
Oh, I won't be back in time.
Or maybe it's 3 weeks.
As far as I know, they're
April
still married.
11th. You're not going to be back.
Oh wait, when is it?
April 11th.
Oh yeah, I'll be back. Yeah, let's go.
Well,
I
me
can't
and Spring
go.
already got plans. Well, are you coming or not?
I'm going.
Are you bringing Abby? Are you and I going on the date together? Make
No,
everybody
it's
just
you and
find
I.
Yeah, you and me. Sammy will be happy. You're best friends, and you're going to a concert. That
You have to come
proves
pick me
Sammy's
up.
point.
You got to come
I
pick
don't know
me
if
up.
I'll pick you up, but we'll.
Give me a ride.
We ain't taking the truck.
No, let's take the Stang, dude. You got to impress.
Oh yeah, we took that to Ska Fest.
Yeah.
And then my life went to hell shortly after that. I don't know if I like this.
I mean, if you're taking me out for a night, we're taking the cool car, right?
Hey, yeah, not like a couple of guys cruising downtown in a muscle car.
Hell
that
yeah.
doesn't scream midlife crisis or anything.
Hey, fun boys, get a room.
All the 20-somethings they'll be looking our way and going, what a couple of losers.
Hey, and I'll yell about how I saw Goldfinger at the Metro in '95.
Yeah,
you nerds.
You'll probably yell it at Feldman.
I probably will.
Saw it at 95. They're with MXPX. They're really the opening band. So
All right, see?
It's a night.
All right, we're going to the show.
It's called the Sorry Sweetheart guys and gals. We'll
Everybody
just go.
got to hear
Everyone,
us make
we're going.
plans live on the air for April 11th.
Y'all can bring your green hat.
All right. That's going to do it for us. Andy's giving me a ride in the Stang. It's going to be cool.
I already did this. Remember poor Steve Nelson crammed into. I think we
Just sit in
put
the
Steve
back.
in the trunk on the way home.
We got to pick Steve up, too. Steve will go with us.
In the trunk?
Yeah.
We'll pop down the seat and back so he can breathe.
Yeah, give Steve a
There's
ride,
no
too.
leg room in the back.
We got the whole
I don't know
crew
why it
going
has
to
a
the
back
show.
seat. It'll just be nothing but trunk.
All right. We'll do a
It's a
radio
little
show
bit like
tomorrow.
Nick Foles.
I feel like I'm in like $18 today. Anyway, we're back tomorrow.
This one doesn't matter.
Yeah,
We're
this one's
good.
out.
It's just me and Bert up next. We're fine.
Legio's one.
It's fine. Blitz is coming up next. Good night, everybody.